Hello, everybody, and welcome into WCBN Sports coverage of Michigan baseball. We're here at Ken Dugan Field on campus of Lipscomb University in Nashville, Tennessee, for today's matchup between the Michigan Wolverines and the Lipscomb University Bisons. I'm Austin Falco. Alongside me, Teo Mackey. Starting in the bottom of the fifth, you'll hear the dulcet tones of Teddy Gutkin and Max Brill. But Teddy, here starting off the second game of a three-game series. Last night's game, a 16-11 victory by the Wolverines, can be pretty much summed up in one word, and that word is hectic.
Yeah, absolutely a hectic game last night. Wolverines jumped out to an early 13-3 lead before starter Tommy Henry was removed from the game, and then things got crazy here in Nashville. Wolverines bullpen struggled to keep that lead. Ultimately, they were able to do so, but gave up 10 runs in the 3 innings after Henry was removed. Lipscomb, hit 6 batters with pitches. Numerous runs were either walked in or driven in by hit by pitches. The Wolverines only had 3 extra base hits and yet scored 16 runs last night. Just an absolutely wild game all around. Super high scoring. A really good start from Tommy Henry, giving up 3 runs in 6 innings, 2 of those coming in the 6th inning. Before that, he was absolutely firmly in control, gave up 1 run in the first, and then went four scoreless from the 2nd to the 5th. But the Wolverines bullpen struggled again, as it has a decent amount here early in the season.
So we're just about ready for first pitch. It'll be Chris Kachmar for the Bisons against Akeo Thomas for the Wolverines. First pitch from Kachmar is in there for a strike, and we are underway here at 2:06 local time here in Nashville. 63 degrees is your game time temperature. Kachmar now has the sign and is working quickly up 0-1 on Akeo Thomas. Thomas lines one towards second, but right at the second baseman. It's Thomas, his leadoff counterpart and second base counterpart. So it'll be a line out to second to start the game. There's 1 out here in the top of the first.
Yeah, hard hit ball on that pitcher, fastball down on the outside of the plate. Good piece of hitting by Thomas to stay on it, but just hit it right at the second baseman.
It'll be Christian Bullock, now the right fielder for the Wolverines today. Left-handed hitter stands in there against the right-handed throwing Kachmar. First pitch he sees is an off-speed pitch away. The rest of the starting lineup for the Wolverines today after Thomas and Bullock. Jonathan Engelman's the center fielder batting third. Miles Lewis bats fourth and plays left. Marcus Chavez gets the start at designated hitter today. He bats fifth. Jimmy Kerr is the third baseman in the 6th hole as Bullock fouls one up and behind us in the press box here for a foul ball. Evens count up at 1-1. Joe Donovan gets his second start of the series at catcher. Brock Keener starting over at first base again. He bats 8th. And rounding things out is the shortstop, Jack Blomgren.
Yeah, similar lineup to yesterday with Christian Bullock playing right field in place of Dom Clemente and Marcus Chavez designated hitting in place of Gutierrez.
Bullock takes the third pitch of the at-bat on the outside corner for a strike. The count's now 1-2. Kachmar, the junior right-hander for Lipscomb. This is his 4th start. He's coming in with a 1.50 ERA in 18 innings pitched. And the 1-2 pitch hit to Bullock is a breaking ball in the dirt. Tried to get Bullock to chase. He was able to hold up and even the count up at 2-2.
Yeah, I like the pitch selection there on 1 and 2. Don't want to give him too much to hit. Try to get him to chase out with the breaking ball, and he almost did. Able to check his swing, though.
Bullock, the sophomore for the Wolverines, stands in there. 2-2 count, takes one low and in now. Brings the count full now. It's 3-2. Bullock coming into this ball game batting .270, a .341 on base percentage, couple extra base hits to his name, both doubles. He stands in there with a full count against the strikeout machine, Chris Kachmar. Kachmar now winds up, and the full count pitch is looped towards third base. It will be the shortstop and third base run into each other, and it drops. I'd imagine that goes down as an error there. It was Thomas, the shortstop, ranging over Dodson, the third baseman. Looked like he was camped under it. Little miscommunication results in a runner on for the Wolverines. Got a little lucky there, and it'll be 1 on with 1 out for Jonathan Engelman.
Yeah, it's got to go down as an error. The question is who that one's going to go down on. It fell in right between Thomas and Dodson there. Just a blooper that looked like Dodson was camped under it. Thomas came over, bumped into each other, and it's going to be ruled an error on the shortstop Thomas. We see here. but just bad communication, just ran into each other, something you usually see more in the outfield, not on a little infield blooper.
They did give it to the shortstop, Thomas, which I'd have to agree with there, given Dodson was camped under it, and Thomas is one that really ran into him. As Bullock over on first. Fakes going here, and Engelman takes the first pitch on the outside corner for a strike, 0-1.
Yeah, and I was about to compliment Chris Kachmar on going after Bullock on the full count after the Bisons had issued 8 walks yesterday and 4 hit by pitches. You really want to go after hitters, and so that was a good piece of pitching by Kachmar, but his defense didn't hold up their end of the bargain.
And Chris Kachmar coming in just 7 walks in 18 innings pitched. Meanwhile, he struck out 24 coming into this one. So not afraid to attack hitters. Definitely pounds the strike zone and really did have Bullock off balance there in the 3-2. Resulted in that little looper that ended up giving the Wolverines their first base runner of the day. After stepping off for a second, Kachmar now from the stretch. Sets with the glove about stomach high. Taking a glance back at Bullock on first. Long pause. Now fires to the plate. Engelman swings through a breaking ball for strike number 2. It's 0-2.
Yeah, good job pulling the string there by Kachmar. Engelman caught out in front.
The Bison today in their black jerseys, black tops, white bottoms, purple lettering with the white outline on the front. That's the same for the numbers on the back. The black hat, purple brim, and purple L. As the 0-2 pitch is a high fastball that Engelman lays off and brings the count to 1-2. Meanwhile, the Wolverines in their Saturday outfits, maize tops, blue lettering across the chest, blue numbers on the back, white bottoms, and just about every single Wolverine sporting the high sock look, the blue socks underneath.
Yeah, every single Wolverine in batting practice sporting those high socks. A look of a bygone era, but I like the look. Even Coach Eric Bakich was rocking the high socks earlier, and he still has them going in the dugout.
Yeah, Max and I touched on it yesterday. I'm a big fan of those high socks look. That's all I wore when I used to play. Those days are long past, though.
Not quite as great as the stirrups, but I'll take it. Much better than the long pants.
I like the design on the back of the socks over here for Coach Bakich as well. I can't quite see the other Wolverines. They also have the designs on the back that can't quite make out exactly what they are, but adds a little bit more flavor to those high socks. There's a couple pickoff throws, chase Bullock back. Kachmar being very conscious of the sophomore over there, who's 4 for 4 on stolen base attempts this season. The 1-2 pitch is a fastball. Strike 3 call on the inside corner. Engelman doesn't seem to like the call, but doesn't matter as he'll head back towards the dugout. Now there's 2 outs and 1 on for the Wolverine left fielder today, Miles Lewis.
Yeah, it looked like it might be inside on Engelman's hands there. Well, almost hit him, but Engelman was crowded over the plate, so it hit the strike zone. Good piece of umpiring to not be fooled by Engelman crowding the plate.
Lewis, the switch hitter, watches another pickoff throw, chases Bullock back to the bag, standing up. Coming into this one, batting .244. On base percentage of 300, and yet another pickoff throw chases Bullock back. Yesterday's ball game was Lewis in that same second, or he was batting rather in the 2-hole yesterday and playing left. He was 1 for 3 before being taken out with an RBI and a walk in that one.
Yeah, and another pickoff attempt. That's 5 or 6 now trying to get Bullock. A couple of them have been close. Most of them just walking him back to the bag.
He's taking a sizable lead over there is Bullock. As Kachmar comes set to fire to Lewis. Now Bullock's on the run. The pitch misses outside. The throw down to second. Got him.
Out by a mile. Yeah, he knew Bullock was going there. Pitch out. Not quite a pitch out, but a pitch that prepared Jake Perry for an easy throw down to second base.
So that will do it here for the Wolverines in the first. They get a base run on an error, but he's erased there on that caught stealing. So after 3 batters and 1/2 inning here at Lipscomb University, the score remains Michigan 0, Lipscomb 0 on the official student radio broadcast for Michigan baseball here on WCBN Sports.
Yeah, and a good throw down there to second by Jake Perry after Jeffrey Crisson, who started yesterday's game at catcher, is designated hitting today. Crisson had a big RBI double in yesterday's game, but a couple of poor plays behind the plate that contributed to a couple wild pitches that allowed the Wolverines to build their lead early on. So you see Lipscomb switching it up and starting Jake Perry behind the dish today, and they're rewarded early on with the caught stealing.
So as we get here into the bottom of the first inning, the starting lineup here for the Lipscomb Bisons. Leading things off will be the shortstop Blake Thomas. In the 2-hole is the first baseman Cade Sorrells. Batting third and playing third is Zeke Dodson. Jeffrey Crisan, who we just mentioned, is the designated hitter today and bats cleanup. In the 5-hole in left field is Josh Martinez. Jake Perry's behind the plate, who just threw out Christian Bullock. He bats sixth. Maddox Houghton remains the starter in center field in the 7-hole. Coleman Goodwin is the right fielder today. He bats eighth. And rounding out the lineup is Jackson Firstace, the second baseman. They'll face the right-handed throwing sophomore for the Wolverines, Carl Kaufman. Kaufman making his 4th start of the year. Comes in with a 2-1 record and a 3.78 ERA in just under 17 innings pitched on the season. So after a couple lefties started yesterday's ballgame, got a couple righties on the mound today. Kaufman, one of the few Wolverines not quite wearing the high socks, is almost halfway up. Kind of an awkward look there.
Yeah, I've never seen that before. He must have his pants tucked in and then hanging over the front of his socks, so it's like a half-calf look.
It reminds me of in Little League when the kids get the pants that are too short for them, so they have to wear them that way. Now stepping in here will be the right-handed hitting senior shortstop for the Bisons, Blake Thomas. He takes strike one from Carl Kaufman.
Yeah, Kaufman hitting 91 on the gun on that pitch, faster than anything we saw yesterday from either pitcher.
The second pitch here is fouled off the foot of Thomas, right at home plate. Goes as foul ball, and Kaufman now in firm control of this one, 0-2. As mentioned, Kaufman starting in his 4th game of the year. Did not make a start last year, but appeared 12 times out of the bullpen. A nice 2.03 ERA. Was a very reliable arm for head coach Eric Bakich as he fires that one to the backstop, and that'll go down as ball number 1.
Yeah, not quite a reliable arm on that pitch, as he fired it across the left-handed batter's box all the way back to the backstop. Fortunately, nobody on base.
We'll try it again here with 1-2. Kaufman breaking ball, hung in there, did Thomas. He flies this one towards right field. Bullock camping underneath it, makes the grab for an easy out number 1.
Yep, lazy fly ball there. Good pitch on the outside corner. Not much that Thomas could do with it.
So that will bring up the first baseman for the Bisons, Cade Sorrells, a right-handed thrower, left-handed hitter. Sorrells in yesterday's ball game also started over at first base and batted second. He was 0 for 1. Scored 3 runs, though, on 3 walks, and also drove in a run in that one, despite not registering a hit. He takes the first pitch outside from Kaufman for ball 1, 1-0. Kaufman now working quickly out of the windup. And this one is hit high towards center field. Shortstop ranging out. Makes the grab. Jack Blomgren. What a play.
Fantastic play there from Jack Blomgren, ranging out towards center field, toward that Bermuda Triangle, and makes the grab over his right shoulder, leaning back toward the infield. No chance for Engelman to get there on that one, so it was all Blomgren to prevent the hit from falling in.
It looked off the bat like Engelman had a good beat on it, was running in. Looked like he might be able to camp under it, but like you said, it was primed to land right in that little Bermuda Triangle. If not for the freshman Jack Blomgren proving why he's getting the start at shortstop over there today. That could have been the Bison's first base runner of the game.
Yeah, and the infield shading a little bit left here on Zeke Dodson, with Blomgren playing almost completely between second and third baseman Jimmy Kerr playing right down the line, with K.O. Thomas almost behind second base.
First pitch to Dodson missed inside. This one, though, catches the inside corner and evens things up at 1-1. Dodson coming into the game batting .392 on the year. A .467 OBP, 2 homers, 10 RBIs to his name. The 1-1 pitch to him on the outside corner for strike 2. That one registered on there at 88 from the righty.
Yeah, potent duo here in the middle of the Bisons lineup with Zeke Dodson and Jeffrey Crisson both hitting 392 and 520 respectively.
The 1-2 pitch, though, swing and a miss, and a good breaking ball from Kaufman. He sets him down. So the Bisons go down 1-2-3 here in the first inning. Carl Kaufman picking up where Tommy Henry left off during those middle innings yesterday. And after one inning of play here at Ken Dugan Field, the score, Lipscomb 0, Michigan 0 on WCBN Sports coverage of Michigan baseball.
Yeah, solid all-around inning from the Wolverines there. Great pitching from Carl Kaufman to induce 2 weak fly balls and then finish the inning off with the strikeout. But also a fantastic defensive play from Jake Blomgren to get the second out of the inning. First out of the inning was a simple play for Bullock out in right field, but that second out would have fallen in even though it was a weakly hit ball just because of the placement of it.
Carl Kaufman registering his 18th strikeout of the year, and now what's 17 2/3 innings pitched. Both these pitchers today, we can expect some strikeouts. Carl Kaufman back at Stanford when he pitched, struck out 10 Stanford batters, no small feat. He went 6 2/3 innings in that one. Only allowed 3 hits, did not give up a run against one of the best teams in the country.
Yeah, and we'll have Miles Lewis leading off this second inning after he was stuck at the plate when Christian Bullock was caught stealing second base.
Miles Lewis, the Wolverine left fielder in the ball game today. Yeah, as you mentioned, was up there when Christian Bullock was caught stealing to end the inning. Bullock on last inning because of an error by the shortstop, Blake Thomas. The Wolverines right back to the heart of the order. 4, 5, 6 due up Lewis, Chavez, and Kerr. Lewis stands in there in lefty batter's box and lines one right at the first baseman, Sorrells. Didn't have to move and makes the grab for out number 1.
Yeah, Michigan again jumping on the first pitch of the at-bat to make solid contact. That one, unfortunately, right at Cade Sorrells. But we saw that a couple times yesterday. Wolverines hitters being aggressive early in the count and roping singles. And normally to left field, a lot of singles to left field yesterday and on the first pitch of at-bats.
So the Marcus Chavez getting his first action of the series. He designated hitter for the Wolverines today. Squares to bunt and pulls back, but takes strike 1 on the outside corner, 0-1. Chavez coming into this one batting just 185, but an impressive 371 on base percentage. Partly because he has more walks than strikeouts on the year, 7-6. This 0-1 pitch is grounded hard towards short. Thomas makes the play going down to a knee, double clutches, throws to first. Safe as it pulled Sorrells off the bag, and he was unable to get the tag down on Chavez. So that should probably go down as the second error on Thomas in as many innings.
Yeah, that'll definitely be Thomas's second error of the game. Took a little bit too much time double clutching there, forced him to rush the throw over to Sorrells, and the throw just pulled Sorrells off the bag. Good tag attempt by Sorrells, who had to jump and then swipe down, but unable to get the tag on before Chavez reached base.
So it'll be Chavez taking the place over at first base with Jimmy Kerr stepping up to the plate.
Yep, and it's officially adjudged a throwing error from the shortstop.
Kerr grounds the first pitch towards second, over to short for 1, and relay throw to first is in time for the double play. So just like that error doesn't matter as Chavez is raced on 1 pitch. A 4-pitch inning there.
Yeah.
For Kachmar, sets the Wolverines down relatively easily, and we'll move to the bottom of the second inning. Still no score in this one between Michigan and Lipscomb.
Yeah, that's the flip side of the first pitch aggressiveness. Is you have Miles Lewis roping that grounder right, or that liner right to Sorrells for a 1-pitch out, and then another 1-pitch double play there. Jimmy Kerr grounds it right to second base on the first pitch of the inning. So when you have that aggressiveness, it can pay off, but you also gets you 4-pitch innings like that one that we just saw there.
Wolverines, a much different approach than what we saw yesterday when they were taking a ton of pitches. They drew 8 walks in yesterday's ball game. As you mentioned, 3 hits batsmen, allowing a lot of free runners on base. And today it's been the Lipscomb defense that allowed a couple runners on base, but a great job from Chris Kachmar and his catcher today, Jake Perry, of erasing those ones with relative ease.
Yeah, credit to Chris Kachmar for attacking hitters. He still faced the minimum despite the 2 errors behind him, but that's really important for him to be attacking hitters after the Bisons allowed 12 Michigan hitters to reach base freely, either by walks or hit by pitches in yesterday's ball game.
So for the Bisons here, after they went down 1-2-3 in the first inning, it'll be the heart of their order as well. The 4-5-6 hitters, Jeffrey Crissan, Josh Martinez, and Jake Perry.
Number 34, Jeffrey Crissan.
So Jeffrey Crissan strides up to the plate. The powerful right-handed hitter was 2 for 4 in yesterday's ball game with a couple RBIs. As you mentioned, a big RBI double in that one way back in the first inning in that one, which seems like a year and a half ago at this point. It was a long ball game yesterday, almost hitting that 4-hour mark, getting real close. Today's cruising along so far through an inning and a half as Crissan sees the first pitch from Coffin, miss inside for a ball, 1-0. Crissan coming into the ball game today, batting .520 on the season. 2 long balls, the double yesterday in terms of the extra base hit column. He takes a big swing there and foul tips it into the glove of Joe Donovan for even things up at 1-1.
Yeah, only 25 at bats for Crissan, but hitting over 500 in those 25 at bats. So an impressive start to the season for him.
This time he takes another big swing there at a breaking ball, good breaking ball from Kyle Kaufman, moving off the plate away, and it'll bring Kings down to 1-2. Crissan steps back in the box quickly. Kaufman working quickly. 1-2 pitch, another breaking ball, swing and a miss. Strike 3.
Another great use of the breaking ball there from Kaufman, his second strikeout of the game on that breaking ball.
Just really overmatched Jeffrey Crissan, which we haven't seen this weekend, and he really hasn't seen too much this season. Absolutely dominated Kaufman. Even things up at 1-1 in that count, then just went to work with those breaking balls, moving first off the plate away and then low and away. Got Crissan to swing and miss at 2 of them. First pitch here to Josh Martinez is bunted, but fielded by Joe Donovan in the right-handed batter's box, so it'll be a foul ball.
Yeah, and Kaufman's on his way to, with 2 strikeouts and 4 batters, on his way to repeating his feat from last game in which he struck out 10 Stanford batters and 6 2/3 scoreless. So we'll see if he can keep that up here.
The 0-1 pitch to Martinez now. It's in there for a strike, brings the count to 0-2. Kaufman working well, has been ahead of all but one hitter today, and that was Cade Sorrells, who ended up popping out to the shortstop Blomgren. The 0-2 pitch here. Well behind that one was Martinez. Almost took out the cameraman over there. Actually, I think he did get a piece of him. We're going to have to get a little medical attention over there. We might have a little stoppage in this one.
Oh. Or yeah, someone looks like they're down over there. Might not. We can't tell too much from our angle, so I don't want to speculate. But they're rushing over to give medical attention to someone down on the third base line.
There's a cameraman over there for the ESPN3 crew who was standing right behind the camera. It looked like if it hit him, it was a glancing blow. The ball really didn't lose too much velocity. And he stayed standing for a second after it would have hit him and then went down and is now leaning against the fence. We are going to have a stoppage here to make sure everything's all right.
Yeah, it was an absolutely screaming line drive. A couple cameramen ducked out of the way, but I guess the one who was hit was unable to, and we have a stoppage here. The umpires have their masks off, so everyone's looking over there.
Looks like we're going to get some ice and some medical attention over there.
Yeah, a little bit of a scary situation here. Hopefully no one's too badly hurt.
The netting here at Ken Dugan Field does stretch to the end of the dugouts, but that cameraman standing just off the edge of that netting was unprotected of that screaming line drive off the bat of Josh Martinez.
Yeah, and on the Michigan side, you actually have where that foul ball is. You have a screen that looks like it might just be their batting practice screen, but I guess they've moved that out of the way on the Lipscomb side to give the cameraman a clearer angle. But right now, that it's not looking too good over there.
Again, he didn't appear to lose consciousness or anything. He appears to be aware. Looks like maybe cleanup duty. There's gloves on over there.
Yeah,
there's stitches on the baseball. It's real easy to get a cut even with a glancing blow.
Yeah, they're dabbing his face down. He's walking around. He looks fine, but now he's just sitting on a stone wall behind that camera well, and being given medical care. It looks like it might just be a scrape somewhere, but hopefully it's nothing too serious.
Talking to him now, making sure he's fully conscious and aware. always a concern. I got pretty confident based on where they were treating him. Looks near the top of the head, maybe towards the forehead area.
Yeah, and the crowd here at Ken Dugan Field is really in a hushed silence as the fans are concerned about this cameraman over here down on the third base side. The umpires gathering over by third base, looking on to make sure that everything's okay with that cameraman.
Yeah, just making sure before I move on that everyone has their action tuned to the field.
Excuse me?
They're just making sure everyone's attention is tuned towards the field. That's why you always hear when you go to ball games to pay attention, beware of foul balls for incidents like this.
Yeah, and that's why you see such a push to extend netting at the major league level. We have that here at Lipscomb. It's covering the dugouts, but nothing down by that camera well. Excluding the Little League World Series in Williamsport, pretty much no stadium has netting extending that far. Just an unfortunate circumstance here. Meanwhile, Carl Kaufman and Joe Donovan continue just to play a little game of catch here in front of the pitcher's mound as Kaufman attempts to stay warm in the middle of an at-bat here as there's 0 balls and 2 strikes.
Yeah, trying to stay warm both physically and mentally after seeing something like that happen. And you kind of get shook just a little bit. Looks like we've got a backup cameraman popping on the headphones and ready to take the place over there, so we'll see if the person in question does make their way out of the stadium, maybe to receive further medical attention elsewhere. We hope that isn't the case and he's able to leave here all right. Really haven't had any movement over there in a little bit. Just waiting for any sort of indication. He is alert. Sitting on the ledge over here at Ken Dugan Stadium. There's a little ledge just south of a hill that extends just beyond the stands here at Ken Dugan Stadium, or Ken Dugan Field. Almost like you'd see at a minor league ballpark where you have the stands that go to the dugout, the end of the dugout, and then a little hill there for kids to play around on, and slight little ledge before hitting down that wall that leads to the field.
Yeah, and not to make light of the situation down there, but it will be interesting to see how Carl Kaufman responds to the break in the middle of an at-bat. See if he was pitching fantastically up until that really going after hitter, so it'll be interesting to see if he has any issues with his control after stepping back. But he's firing some warm-up pitches, almost like the start of an inning here with catcher Joe Donovan.
You also have to worry about the mental state of Josh Martinez, too, as now the cameraman makes his way to his feet and receives a round of applause here from the fans at Lipscomb. Looks like he could be walking off towards the left field corner, perhaps headed out of the stadium. Appears to be walking all right, maybe a bit shaken up. I know I for sure would be if something like that happened to me. It's not only are you physically okay, but as you mentioned, mentally okay after you see that screaming line drive headed right at your head.
Yeah, and I mean that happened to a cameraman who's paying full attention to the game, obviously. So the argument that only happens to people who aren't paying attention, aren't watching the game, really doesn't hold any water when you see someone who's literally filming the action on the field get hit by a ball like that. It's just a really unfortunate circumstance that just happens in this game with the fans so close to the action. But that's the reason that you see the push for extended netting at all levels to protect fans, because if a cameraman can't get out of the way, I don't know how you can expect an elderly fan or a young kid sitting down the first base or third base sideline or line to be able to get out of that one, even if they are paying full attention.
Looks like he's going to perhaps resume his post over there. Standing behind the camera, ready to go. Looks like he's joking around, laughing with the paramedics that are there.
Yeah, and is that an umpire over there? It looks like, or is that a paramedic who's just wearing the exact same black top and gray pants as the umpire?
It does look like a paramedic over there. He's got the belt on, or some sort of emergency personnel. Now we have an umpire walking on over, along with the Lipscomb third base coach. Umpires want to make sure everything is sorted out for certain, make sure everything is all right over there so similar incident doesn't occur with someone that perhaps is not paying as much attention to the game. Players look about ready to get back underway. Some stretching going on by the Wolverines out in the field. Again, just trying to stay loose. Now the umpires and third base coach making their way back to their positions. Seems like only a matter of time before we get things started back up again here.
Yeah.
As we resume, it will be an 0-2 count on Josh Martinez.
Yeah, Jonathan Engelman jogging back out towards center field. He was up talking to K.O. Thomas and Jacob Blomgren during that delay as Carl Kaufman steps back onto the mound.
All right, so we will resume here. 0-2 count, 1 out here in the bottom of the second inning. Kaufman Martinez this time foul off to the right side, almost the exact same spot on the opposite side of the field. The count's going to remain 0-2.
Yeah, not quite as hard hit, but if there had been a cameraman over there, it would have been a very similar situation.
This 0-2 pitch pops straight up behind the plate and back near the press box. Will we get a bang? No, it hits the concourse, then off the press box. We can't quite get to it here. The windows are sealed. Otherwise, we might have had a souvenir to bring back to Ann Arbor.
Yeah,
as it stands, another foul ball. The count stays at 0-2.
Yeah, it looked like it was going to come back over the press box, but it bounced right in front and then slammed up into the downward sloping window here as Joe Donovan chased it back to the backstop.
So now another 0-2 pitch from Kaufman. Mitch is high and away, and that'll bring the count to 1-2. Now the 1-2 pitch from Kaufman Martinez. Swing and a miss at a breaking ball low and in. It bounces in the dirt. Donovan will field and throw down to first to record the out. So another strikeout here. That's 3 in a row for Kaufman. Now there's 2 gone in the bottom of the second.
Great piece of catching by Joe Donovan to keep that one in front of him, but another fantastic breaking ball. This time, his previous 2 were on right-handed hitters tailing away. This time, coming in on the hands of the left-handed Martinez. Great piece of pitching.
So now stepping in will be Jake Perry, the catcher, getting the start today. Coming into this one, batting .211. He takes the first pitch high and away for a ball. It's 1-0. Two extra base hits on the season for Perry. It was a couple doubles. He takes the 1-0 pitch on the outside corner for a strike to even things up at 1-1. Of course, last night we saw Jeffrey Chrisan, the big catcher, getting the start. This one from Perry is fouled off towards the right side. That one's going to get out of play and induce a race to the ball from the children in attendance here. Starts to roll down the hill. And a diving stab made by one of the kids in the black.
One of the best defensive plays of the game there, the diving attempt to keep the ball from rolling back down the hill by the kid over on the right side of the field here.
Meanwhile, the 1-2 pitch misses high and even things up at 2-2 on Perry. Kaufman working quickly, the 2-2 pitch now. Check swing, he went on ball in the dirt. Another strikeout for Kaufman. Donovan Fields throws down to first to record the out. So Kaufman strikes out the side in order here in the second inning.
And that is one of the longest 1-2-3 innings that you will see, as due to the long, scary, but ultimately it looks like it's been a resolved delay with a foul ball hitting a cameraman. Other than that, though, Carl Kaufman with 3 strikeouts, all on breaking pitches, 2 in the dirt, 1 just tailing away from the right-handed hitter. And a really, really strong inning from Carl Kaufman as Michigan is not allowed to hit through 2 innings.
And the sophomore from Bloomfield Hills, Michigan, picking up right where he left off against Stanford, cruising along through 2 innings here at Lipscomb University, where we still sit scoreless. Michigan 0, Lipscomb 0. WCBN Sports coverage of Michigan baseball. I'm Austin Falco, alongside me Teo Mackey. As you mentioned, later on in this one, you'll hear Max Brill and Teddy Gutkin. They'll take you home from the bottom of the 5th on.
Yeah, and unlike yesterday's game where when we turned it over in the middle of the fifth inning, the ball game had all but been decided at 11-1 at that point. Today's game still 0-0 in the second inning. Completely different ball game than the wild game that we had yesterday. So hopefully for those guys it'll be a close one going into the bottom of the 5th when they take over.
So far through a couple innings here, it looks like you and me, Teo, might get the short end of the stick here. This one's flying by through the first couple innings, aside from the stoppage. Both starting pitchers in firm control, Chris Kachmar and Carl Kaufman.
Yeah, as you mentioned, both pitchers have faced the minimum. Lipscomb's had a bit of defensive struggles from shortstop Blake Thomas, but still faced a minimum thanks to a caught stealing and a double play. So it is really flying by. Only 40 minutes have elapsed despite that stoppage that must have been, 10-15 minutes?
Yeah, I would say about 15 minutes probably.
So, yeah, actually, the game started a little bit late, so 34 minutes through 2 innings despite that stoppage is really brisk.
It'll be Joe Donovan leading things off here for the Wolverines in the 3rd inning. He takes a breaking ball for a strike, 0-1. After Donovan, it'll be Dominic Clementi and Brock Keener and Jack Blomgren. My mistake. As the 0-1 pitch misses high and in, evens things up at 1-1. Donovan coming into this one batting .333 in limited time, just 12 at-bats on the season. The 1-1 pitch, breaking ball in there for a strike again. It's 1-2.
Yeah, Kachmar really attacking hitters so far today with 13 strikes and 19 pitches.
Working quickly now as Kachmar, he holds that glove in front of his face, gets his grip. Now the 1-2 pitch, just got a piece of that one. Did Donovan, he chased that one. It was almost the other batter's box, but able to stay alive there, and count remains 1-2.
Yeah, just chased the off-speed pitch out of the strike zone, but good piece of hitting to stay on it and not flail at it, to be able to get a piece on it and stay alive.
Another 1-2 pitch to the freshman catcher. Donovan is fouled straight back to the screen on a fastball. Timed that one up well, did Joe Donovan, and he'll stay alive again. It's still 1-2. Donovan got the start in yesterday's ballgame as well behind the plate. In that one, he went 2 for 3 with a couple runs scored and a couple RBIs, including a double. This one, he swings and misses at a ball in the dirt. It's fielded and thrown down to first to retire Donovan. His counterpart Perry makes that play, and that'll result in the first out of the inning. Strikeout, 2-3 put out.
Yeah, I'm surprised the home plate umpire called that a swinging strike. He checked his swing, and it looked like it was going to be an appeal down to first base, as you normally see. It looked a bit close for the home plate umpire to make the call, though it did look like he went.
So now Brock Keener, the left-handed hitting first baseman for the Wolverines, strides in there, a switch hitter, batting from the left side rather. He lines one over the shortstop's head of Thomas and into left center field for our first hit of the ball game.
Yeah, kind of a similar play to the fantastic defensive, or a similarly hit ball to the fantastic defensive play that Jake Blomgren had earlier, but shortstop Blake Thomas unable to get there. It was a soft liner, a little bit harder hit than that one. Blake Thomas ranging back on it, but not able to get there in time.
So Brock Keener will take his place over at first base with Jack Blomgren stepping to the plate. Blomgren, the freshman, getting his 12th start of the season for the Wolverines over at shortstop. Comes in batting just 167. Looking to pick things up here. He's got a big hole on the right side with the first baseman holding Keener over there. He takes the first pitch for a strike, 0-1.
Yeah, and first is shading over towards second base. A really big hole there if he goes the opposite way.
As you mentioned, Blomgren in his 12th start. He also got the start yesterday. Ended up going 0 for 4, though. Did record an RBI.
Yeah, the freshman Blomgren still finding his way at the plate, but has been really solid defensively. A couple solid plays yesterday. Nothing to the caliber of his catch earlier today, but really been a solid defensive contributor in this series.
One pickoff throw chases Keener back, and now Kachmar steps off again to keep Keener close. Not a threat to steal, as Keener really has not attempted a stolen base yet this season. Now the 0-1 to Blomgren will not happen as we get another pickoff throw over towards first. Keener back in standing yet again. And as you mentioned, Blomgren really showing off the glove here early on in his freshman year. Trying to pick up right where he left off. Michael Berdar, who's helping out with the team this year. Fantastic defensive shortstop. As the 0-1 pitch is in there for a strike, and it's 0-2. Over the middle, he just reaches back on a little funny hop and firing over to first. Strong arm as well. Have to think he has been a bit of a mentor to the young freshman in the offseason and so far early on in this season. Blomgren now awaits the 0-2 pitch. It's on its way. He grounds one towards first, fielded by Searles over to second for one. The relay throw to first. Safe.
Yeah, just not quite in time there. Would have been a 3-6-1 double play. Solid defensive play again from Lipscomb. Almost the third time in this ball game, or it would have been the third time in this ball game that the Wolverines would have had a base runner on, and yet still only had the minimum batters in the inning. But Lipscomb was unable to turn the double play just by a second there. I'm not even sure that Kachmar had his foot on the back had he had the throw been in time. But a good fielding play to get the lead runner at least, with K.O. Thomas coming up.
So back to the top of the Wolverine order with the K.O. Thomas. He takes a breaking ball on the outside corner for strike one. Blomgren now takes the place of Keener over at first, but like Keener, he is also yet to attempt a stolen base on the season. Wolverines, a very stolen base heavy team. They always have been since head coach Eric Bakich has come to Ann Arbor. So K.O. Thomas takes another breaking ball there that catches the outside corner for strike two. Thomas struggling a little bit here early on, just batting .217, but that on-base percentage of .368 really demonstrates that he's still not chasing too many pitches. 9 walks on the season compared to 10 strikeouts. He does not chase one that bounces in the dirt here. Nice stop by Thomas, or rather by Perry.
Yeah, and obviously when he does get on, a huge threat to steal a base. Only 10 hits this season. Well, 12 walks, so he has been on base 22 times, but 8 stolen bases in 8 attempts. So picking up from where he left off last season, at least on the base paths end and in his on-base percentage, if not with his hitting.
This time he takes one off the plate away to even things up at 2-2. Again, 2 outs here in the top of the third. We're scoreless at Ken Dugan Field and Lipscomb University, between Michigan and Lipscomb. With deuces wild on the scoreboard, 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. We get a pickoff throw over to first base to keep Blomgren close. Kachmar very concerned about the runners that have reached first base so far in this one. It paid off earlier when it made Perry's day easier throwing out Christian Bullock back in the first inning. Not going is Blomgren here as Thomas fouls that one off to the right side and off of the parking garage that resides off over to our right side. So count will remain 2-2.
Yeah, this time the kids over there unable to prevent it from rolling down the hill.
So with the count still 2-2, Kachmar comes set. Glances over at first. Going now is Blomgren. The breaking ball misses over the head of a K.O. Thomas. Blomgren slides safe at second base.
Yeah, really good pitch to steal on there for Blomgren. The curveball caused K.O. Thomas to duck. It kind of slipped out of Kachmar's hand. Thomas had to duck out of the way of it. Good play by Perry to make it close at second base, but Blomgren was able to slide in under the tag that was down toward his feet as Blomgren, yeah, it really just slid under it.
The second straight, really good strike. It was kind of an awkward position with a K.O. Thomas ducking right in front of him and having to reach off to his left side, then bring it all the way back to his right hand. He's a right-handed thrower.
Yeah, and with the full count here, the pitcher-catcher go out for a quick conference on the mound to discuss what they'll do with Thomas with first base open and Miles Lewis coming up next.
This 3-2 pitch is hit high in the air. It should be an easy play, though, for Houghton as he ranges back a little bit. Now steadies himself and makes the grab smack dab in the middle of center field for out number 3. So Wolverines pick up the first hit of the ball game, and also a stolen base, the first one of his career for Jack Blomgren, but ultimately go down quietly without scoring. So through 2.5 innings here at Ken Dugan Field, the score remains Michigan 0, Lipscomb 0.
Yeah, again, just this ball game moving quickly along with that was Michigan's the first runner for either side to get in scoring position. Yesterday, at this point, the ball game was 5-1, and it must have been an hour and a half, 45 minutes into the ball game by the time we got to the middle of the third inning. Here we are, just 43 minutes since first pitch.
I don't want to jinx it too much, though, given apparently what we have is jinxing powers today. It was yesterday. I was on with Max Brill. We were talking about the run that Troy Miller was on, striking out 4 straight. On the very next pitch, he goes and gets a ground out to break that one up. So far, we've been talking about how quickly things are moving along, and we've had the unfortunate incident with the cameraman to slow things down. But ultimately, as you mentioned, just cruising along here, much different story from yesterday's ballgame, and we will definitely take that. No complaints from me. Talk about baseball trying to move towards appealing to everyone, trying to be more exciting, and people automatically assume that with offense, but I'm sure I speak for you as well, Teo. Good pitching duel is always fun to watch.
Yeah, I love watching a great pitching duel. I mean, some of my favorite outings to the ballpark have been 1-0, 1-0, 2-1 ball games. It really creates a tension that you don't have in a game like yesterday. That was 11-1 early on. I mean, in this game, every pitch matters so much. It really should be a fun game to see unfold.
The first 2 pitches of the at-bat from Karl Kaufman to Maddox Houghton split 1-1, and now the third pitch misses low and brings things to 2-1. Kaufman working quickly on the mound, likes to work quickly when he gets in the groove. Out of the wind-up, the 2-1. Breaking ball induces a swing and a miss, I think. Or maybe just a called strike. Either way.
Yeah, I think it was just a called strike. Just caught the outside part of the plate. Would have been an appeal down to first. I don't think he did swing, but it did catch the outside corner.
Either way, it's 2-2. The breaking ball called strike 3. Kaufman has now struck out 5 in a row. Count them up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah, another fantastic breaking ball, this time not working on the swing and a miss, but instead just freezing the batter to induce, as you said, his 5th strikeout in a row. And even those 2 balls hit in play were both soft hit balls.
First pitch of this at-bat is fouled off. Line drive into the Wolverine bullpen. Moves the count to 0-1 on Coleman Goodwin, seeing his first action of the season. Goodwin, the right-handed hitting freshman out of Brentwood, Tennessee. Takes the second pitch of the at-bat just off the inside corner, apparently, and that'll bring the count to 1-1. Goodwin, just 8 at-bats on the season, 1 hit, so he's sitting at 125 on the average. This time Kaufman's breaking ball is in there for a strike and brings the count to 1-2.
Yeah, Coleman Goodwin here also was a recruited quarterback out of high school, but elected to play baseball here at Lipscomb.
The 1-2 pitch misses low and away for a ball and evens things up at 2-2. Goodwin standing there at 6'3", 215. Crouches in that right-handed batter's box. His back foot all the way in the back line, but it doesn't matter as he is blown away by a fastball in the inside corner for strike 3. That makes it 6 strikeouts in a row for Karl Kaufman.
Yeah, that time, Kaufman might have known that Goodwin was looking for that breaking ball that he's used so effectively early on and just came in on his hands with the fastball, blew it right by him. Goodwin was late on it, just really had no clue what to do with that pitch. Fantastic pitch in on the hands.
Jackson first base barely has any time to step in the box before Kaufman fires in a first pitch strike. It's 0-1.
Yep, trying to keep the good mojo going.
This 0-1 pitch swing and a miss on the inside corner. Great movement arm side for Karl Kaufman there. Down and in on the righty first base. It's 0-2.
Yeah, and another 0-2 count can really do anything he wants here. I wonder if he'll go to that breaking ball again.
And he does, and this one is tapped towards third base. Kerr ranging in barehanded, but is not going to have a play, so The first hit of the ball game for Lipscomb breaks up that streak of 6 batters in a row going down on strikes with a little tapper that stays on the infield. So it'll be a runner on first with 2 outs.
Yeah, that was about half an inch from being a 7th straight strikeout, but Firstus was just able to graze the top of the ball and tip it over to Jimmy Kerr, who, I mean, it was essentially a super effective bunt with Kerr playing back a little bit, and Kerr had no chance. Tried to barehand the ball, but just held on to it smartly.
First ace over there at first as we cycle back to the top of the Lipscomb order with Blake Thomas. He takes the first pitch low for a ball, 1-0. Thomas led things off back in the first with a fly out to right fielder Christian Bullock. The 1-0 pitch to him is lined into right field. Bullock's going to have another play on this one. Going first to third will be first ace as Bullock fires it into second. And the Bisons have runners on the corners with 2 away here in the third.
Yeah, just a good line, or a hard hit line drive there. Good piece of hitting from Thomas to jump on the pitch when he had a hitter's count. Not too many hitter's counts today, but took advantage of the first pitch ball, knew that the second pitch was going to be in the zone, and Kaufman wasn't going to be able to go to that breaking ball that's been so effective today, and was able to really jump on that fastball that he was sitting fastball, able to jump on it and line it out into the gap.
So it'll be Cade Sorrells now stepping in, the first baseman for the Bisons. Left-handed hitter has his foot all the way on that back line and all the way up near the inside corner there in the batter's box. He takes the first pitch, I guess just low there for a ball, 1-0. It was Sorrells who popped out to shortstop Jack Blomgren with a nice play in shallow left center field back in the first. A 1-0 pitch catches the bottom of the strike zone here and evens things up at 1-1.
Yeah, that time Kaufman able to do better in the 1-0 count, catch the outside corner and even it back up.
Kaufman now, despite giving up a couple of hits, still working quickly. The 1-1 pitch fouled off and back over to our left. That one will leave the facilities here at Ken Dugan Field out near the parking lot and bring the count to 1 ball and 2 strikes. So the Bisons with the first real scoring threat in this one with a runner just 90 feet away from home over there on third in the form of first ace. Runners at the corners. Thomas fakes going from first. This one's lined towards center field, running in his Engelman. He's not going to have a play as that one drops in there, and the Bisons take an early 1-0 lead on an RBI single for Cade Sorrells.
Yeah, and that tapper from Firstus earlier in the inning really proving costly as Kaufman was rolling, but then that started the 2-out rally for Lipscomb and 2 straight hard hit balls there. First hard hit fair balls of the game, a couple screaming line drives, but the first 2 hard hit fair balls of the game, both dropping in for singles, and nothing that Jonathan Engelman could do with that one.
It's amazing what just a little bit of momentum can do for you. Even that little tapper reminds me of back in the 2016 NLCS. Dodgers pitching absolutely dominating the Cubs. Took a bunt single from Ben Zobrist, and all of a sudden the Cubs offense sparked to life. So the Bisons trying to capture a little bit of that magic here. They're up 1-0 after a little 2-out rally. As the first pitch here from Kaufman to Zeke Dodson bounces low and away in the dirt. Nice stop there by Donovan to keep it in front of him and keep the runners at first and second. Dodson was the first of the 6 straight strikeout victims that began back in the first inning for Carl Kaufman. He's ahead in the count here, 1-0 in his at-bat, though. Right-handed hitter holds that bat just about over his head while he's setting up. He taps this one back towards the mound. Kaufman fields, throws over to first for out number 3. So the Bison start off with a couple of strikeouts, then record 3 straight singles and push across the first run of the ball game here today in the third inning. After 3 innings of play, the score, Lipscomb 1, Michigan 0 on WCBN Sports coverage of Michigan baseball.
Yep, another tapper there, just like the one that started the rally, but this time, fortunately, just back to Kaufman, who was able to easily field it and fire it to first for the out to retire the side. So looks like Dodson is really the key for Kaufman to get things going here. That earlier on in the game, the strikeout that keyed the 6 straight strikeouts, and then that tapper back to the mound to get Kaufman out of a bit of a jam with guys on first and second after giving up the run. So we'll see what Michigan's offense can do here, or what they have in response.
You'd have to imagine going forward in the bottom halves of these innings, these Lipscomb hitters about to get a little more aggressive. As we've seen, as Kyle Kaufman gets deeper in the count, he becomes stronger and stronger. As you mentioned, 6 strikeouts right on the day, those 6 straight strikeouts. Just absolutely kind of baffling Lipscomb hitters when he gets ahead and gets confident.
Yeah, and
meanwhile,
that breaking ball really becomes more effective later in counts when he's working on a 2-strike count. Really makes that a strong pitch that Lipscomb hitters have been completely fooled by.
And the hardest hit ball of the inning had to go probably to Blake Thomas, who lined this single back into right field there and moved the runners at first and third. That was on just the second pitch of the at-bat, so swinging early might be the recipe for the Bisons as long as Kyle Kaufman remains in the game. Meanwhile, that's been the MO for Michigan so far today against Chris Katchmar. They haven't had much to show for it, just 1 hit on the scoreboard. Although Christian Bullock, who's up now, did reach on a fielding error back in the first. First pitch he sees here in the top of the fourth, misses high and away for a ball, 1-0.
Yeah, and the heart of Michigan's order up here with Christian Bullock, Jonathan Engelman, and Miles Lewis due to bat here in the 4th inning. So we'll see if they can get something going, because they've really been unable to with only that 1 hit in the game.
1-0 pitch here, misses low this time, so Bullock ahead in the count, 2-0. Last time it was Bullock getting behind 0-2 before working things back full and inducing that little pop-up that ended up getting him on base. 2-0 pitch this time. Misses low and in for a ball, 3-0. So Katchmar, we'll see how he decides to attack the left-handed hitting sophomore for the Wolverines, Bullock. He misses this one low and in, though, so I guess not attacking at all. That'll be the first walk of the ball game for the Wolverines, and Bullock's on base for the 2nd time today.
Yeah, I hope maybe getting guys on base via the walk will be the key for Michigan to get things going. Haven't been able to get hits to fall in, but doesn't get too much easier than a 4-pitch walk. So maybe Coach Eric Bakich is looking for more patience in his hitters to try to get back to getting on base via the walk, as they did in yesterday's game with 8 guys reaching via walk.
Head coach Eric Bakich giving signs to Engelman and Bullock here as pickoff throw to first chases Bullock back diving, no tag.
Yeah,
and he's going to need time to clean out the bottoms of his pants there. Real messy on that one.
Yeah, Bullock's had those pants soaked in dirt since the 1st inning, when he was chased back with 5 pickoff attempts before ultimately being caught stealing.
This time there's no pickoff attempt. It's actually a pitch to Jonathan Engelman, a breaking ball that missed possibly low, not quite sure where it missed. It looked pretty good to me from up here, but the count goes to 1-0 on Jonathan Engelman. As I mentioned, Bullock caught stealing back in the 1st inning. Makes him 2 for 6 on the year. Or rather 4 for 5 rather. Big leadoff from Bullock at first, not going here as Engelman takes a pitch inside, or the inside corner rather, for a strike, 1-1. That pitch looked more off the plate than the first one did.
Yeah, very similar pitch to the one that Engelman struck out looking on back in the 1st inning, where he was crowding the plate a little bit. It looked like it was a ball in on the hands, but just caught the inside corner according to the home plate umpire. So Engelman, with that patience, trying to do his part to get more base runners on for the Wolverines. But if Katchmar is getting that inside of the plate, it's going to be tough for him.
The corners have been open for business so far from both sides today, so it's not necessarily a partial by this home plate umpire. Kaufman's gotten the benefit of the doubt on a couple pitches, as well as another pickoff throw chases Bullock back, and he's got to clean off yet again.
Yeah, definitely a big play today, contributing to the quick pace of play.
Katchmar now comes set. Bullock big lead over at first. He fakes going towards second as Engelman lines one towards shortstop, caught by Thomas. Thinks about firing to first, but does not. So just goes a line out and 1 gone here in the 2nd inning, or rather the 4th inning.
Yeah, a little bit of a dangerous jump off first from Christian Bullock. Had to hurry back to the bag. Ultimately, it was a slow looping liner, so he was able to get back without a throw. But took a little bit of a dangerous lead going a bit, almost a third the way to second base.
That'll bring up the left fielder, Miles Lewis. Lewis 0 for 1 on the day with a hard line out to the first baseman back in the second. Bullock takes another big lead off of first base with the lefty Lewis at the plate. Or rather, switch hitting Lewis batting from the left side. Lewis looks to square around a bunt. Ruled he did not pull back in time on the pitch that bounced in the dirt, so the count 0-1.
Yeah, really trying to get things going any way they can for the Wolverines are. Trying to get a runner in scoring position, which they've been unable to do today. Just trying to get the bunt down to do that.
I think that might have been trying to bunt for hit with the second baseman first base playing well back in double play depth. Maybe trying to put in that little Bermuda triangle between the pitcher, first baseman who's holding Bullock on, and the second baseman playing well back. 'Cause Lewis looked like he was ready to sprint out of the box as soon as that ball went down.
Yeah, certainly could have been.
Meanwhile, the second pitch, the at-bat misses away for a ball, 1-1. On the 1-1 pitch here, Lewis takes the pitch on the inside corner for strike 2.
Yeah, again, the inside strikes being called by the home plate umpire, this time to the left-handed Lewis. Last time it was to the right-handed Engelman. But it looks like no matter what side of the plate the batter's on, those corner strikes are really being called.
1-2 pitch. We'll have to wait just a second as we get another pickoff throw over to first base. Chase Bullock back.
How many times today has Christian Bullock had to dive back to first base? It's got to be 5 or 6 on 8 or 9.
I was going to say, it's got to
throws.
be like 6. He hasn't gone back in standing very often. He's getting a healthy lead over there. Not going on this pitch as the 1-2 breaking ball misses low and in to even things up at 2-2.
Yeah, that time it actually was off the plate. Just tailed off the right-handed Kaczmar's slider, just tailed off inside.
Certainly a good pitch, though, knowing that inside corner is being called, perhaps getting Miles Lewis to chase one that Lewis knows is going to be called if it's on that inside corner.
Yeah, especially on a 2-strike count.
Now this 2-2 pitch, the exact same thing what we just described happened is one low and in gets chased by Miles Lewis, and he goes down on strikes.
Yeah, and again, effective pitching from Chris Kaczmar, who's now struck out 3 batters in 3 2/3 with only 1 walk, 30 strikes and 45 pitches, a complete 180 from what we saw yesterday from this Lipscomb pitching staff that could not find the zone. But Chris Kaczmar working very effectively today.
That'll bring up the designated hitter for the Wolverines today, Marcus Chavez. It's a pickoff throw over to first yet again. This time Bullock goes back in standing and doesn't have to get dirty one more time. Chavez reached on a throwing error by shortstop Blake Thomas back in the second inning. It was a race down a double play. This time he's up with 2 outs and a runner on first. Bullock back in standing after another pickoff throw. Feels like Kaczmar doing it almost to tire Bullock out at this point, going back and forth, back and forth. It's on a breaking ball to Chavez, bounced in the dirt. Slips just a little bit away from Perry, but Bullock right on it and takes second base.
Yeah, that time nothing that Kaczmar could do to hold Bullock on. A good pitch in the dirt trying to get the chase swing from Marcus Chavez, but the risk of that is that you let Christian Bullock get into scoring position. The speedy Bullock, now 4 for 5 on stolen base attempts this season after the caught stealing earlier in the game. That one won't be a stolen base. He advanced on the wild pitch. But Bullock does have that speed from second base, so it is dangerous to have him in scoring position here with 2 outs.
Looks like head coach Jeff Forehand for Lipscomb coming out to argue that maybe Chavez got in the way while Perry was trying to field that ball, but Chavez was in the batter's box. It's his right to maintain his spot in that box. So quick discussion ends, and the 1-0 pitch to Chavez about to come from Chris Kaczmar. Big leg kick, and it misses low and away for ball 2. 2-0 on the Wolverines DH.
Yeah, maybe for no reason to go after him super hard here with first base open.
Do have Jimmy Kerr on deck, who did ground on double play, but it was a hard hit ball, so
Yeah, Jimmy Kerr reached base 3 times yesterday, had 4 plate appearances, only 1 at bat, as all 3 of those times that he reached base were via mistakes from Lipscomb pitchers. 1 was a hit by pitch, 2 walks. Scored twice despite no hits, 0 for 1 in the ball game.
Kerr's on the on deck, so he might get a chance here as the 2-0 pitch missed high and brought it to 3-0. Now the 3-0 pitch. Swinging was Chavez on that one, but he was late, and it deposited its way into the parking garage. Actually found a little hole in the wall over there and disappeared, so all the kids running over trying to find it as they're climbing in, going after that one.
Yeah, a little bit of not the best architecture there. A gap in the parking garage, about a 6-foot gap in the parking garage for line drives to go through and shatter windshields. So hopefully no one's car has windows broken. Fortunately, our van is on the other side today.
So it'll be 3-1 now on Chavez.
If this was
not before a little conference at the mound.
If this was yesterday, it might have been deposited right in the WCBN van in that parking garage where we were parked yesterday.
The kids looking around in there. I think they're at level 2 low. There's a gap on the second level and a gap on the first level down there. They're all trying to look in the first level, but that one disappeared. 1 more level up. I don't know if they're waiting for it to roll down the ramp or what, but I don't think they're going to find anything if they're looking where they are right now. Anyway, back to the action now. Marcus Chavez deposits one into right field. Bullock is going to be sent. The throw home will be cut off, and the Wolverines have tied this one on a single from Marcus Chavez.
Yeah, fantastic piece of hitting there from Chavez. I was about to ask why he had the green light on or mentioned that he had the green light on the 3-0 count. Again, had the green light, of course, on the 3-1. And great piece of hitting to send it the opposite way. Christian Bullock got a good jump. He's been getting good jumps all day, and that time made it count with by scoring from second. Not a strong throw from Goodwin into the plate. Despite being the former quarterback, Goodwin, a little bit of a soft throw in. No chance of getting Bullock at the plate.
Not going to pretend to know his high school film, but perhaps maybe one of those dual threat running quarterbacks. As the first pitch hitter, Jimmy Kerr, who we talked about a little bit, last at bat, bounces in the dirt for a ball, 1-0. Chavez on first for the second time today, as mentioned, was erased on a double play. That can't happen here with 2 outs in the inning. But Jimmy Kerr, the left-hand hitting third base for the Wolverines, standing in there in the batter's box, contributed a fair amount, especially after Akeo Thomas went down with injury late last season. Getting the chance to start just about every day now is Kerr. He takes the 1-0 pitch for a strike, 1-1. And if you hear the crowd getting a little extra loud when Jimmy Kerr comes out to the plate, that's the Kerr family in attendance here in Nashville. Always a strong Kerr family presence at Michigan baseball games. The 1-1 pitch to Jimmy now misses low and in for a ball, 2-1.
Yeah, and back to that last at-bat, Marcus Chavez really making his presence felt. Michigan has a major catcher battle still ongoing here early in the season. Chavez DHing today with Joe Donovan behind the dish, but Chavez showing his skills with the bat there.
Michigan has 4 catchers listed on the roster. All 4 have seen action in this series as the 2-1 pitch. Jimmy Kerr misses low and away for a ball, 3-1. We've seen Joe Donovan got the start behind the plate each of these 2 games. Harrison Salter got in the ball game yesterday midway through. Marcus Chavez at DH today, and Brock Heeners played first base in both of the ball games today. So offense definitely coming from behind the plate just in many different ways for the Wolverines. The 3-1 pitch now to Jimmy Kerr is a breaking ball that misses low and in for ball 4. So the second walk of the inning puts runners at first and second with 2 gone, and bring up the aforementioned Joe Donovan, the backstop for the Wolverines today.
Yeah, we'll get a chance to see here what Joe Donovan can do at the dish.
Pitcher Joe Donovan.
Donovan in limited opportunities this year, but hitting .308 for the Wolverines, the highest batting average of any Wolverine in the lineup, although only 13 at-bats for Donovan on the year.
He struck out back in his first at-bat.
3 walks as well for Donovan to push his on-base percentage to .467 coming into today's ball game.
looked a little overmatched earlier on by the breaking ball of Chris Katchmar. We'll see if maybe they decide to go towards that again here. First pitch is a breaking ball that misses off the plate, I think.
Yeah, just missed off the plate. Donovan started to swing on it, but was able to hold up. Good eye there from Donovan.
With how the corners have been today, I was pretty confident that one looked like a strike from up here, but it was not, and the count goes to 1-0. Donovan now leans back, takes that very comfortable stance in the right-handed batter's box and watches this time that catches the outside corner. The count goes to 1-1. Big thing here from Chris Katchmar is he's worked from behind in just about every single batter of this inning. Not something you want to see from a pitcher. It makes life harder, and when you always have that uphill battle, puts even more stress on your arm. Katchmar is about to deliver pitch number 58 of the ball game here in inning number 4. Pitch number 58 is fouled straight back to the screen by Donovan. It'll bring the count to 1-2. Donovan wearing that number 0 on his back. Not a number you see every day on the baseball diamond, but repping it well is the young freshman out of Clarendon Hills, Illinois. He's ready for the 1-2 pitch as he lines this one towards left center field. Houghton's on the run. Diving stab, cannot get there. One run's going to score. The throw goes towards third base, and it's going to be offline, so Jimmy Kerr scampers there. Donovan, meanwhile, goes all the way up to second on the throw. Heads up base running there, and Joe Donovan puts the Wolverines ahead here 2-1 with an RBI single and advances to second on that throw.
Yeah, that ball well hit into the gap in left center. Maddox Houghton ranging in on it. Very close to making a similar diving catch that he made yesterday on K.O. Thomas to save a run. Not quite able to get there in time. Backed up by the left fielder Martinez, who fired in offline to third base, which allowed Joe Donovan to get to second base. Good job by Dodson to back that one up and prevent the runner from scoring from third, but fired in behind Donovan in front of Donovan to try to get him at second base, and the throw was just late as Donovan slid in. So the Wolverines now have guys on second and third, 2 guys in scoring position. As we'll see if the diving attempt will come back to haunt the Bisons, as had Houghton stayed on his feet, likely would have been runners on first and second for the Wolverines here. Instead, it'll be guys on second and third. I like the aggressiveness with 2 outs, as long as Katchmar can come back and retire Brock Keener.
He was not able to retire Brock Keener back just last inning. It was Keener who delivered the first hit of the ball game for either team, a single that he deposited just over the shortstop's head. Blake Thomas into left center field. We'll see where he tries to deposit one in this at-bat. He stands in with a couple of RBI opportunities here and 2 outs in the 4th. The lefty lines one this time over the head of the second baseman into right field for a base hit. 1 run's going to score. Being sent is Donovan. The throw home will be cut off again. So the Wolverines pouring it on a little more in this inning with 2 outs. They've scored 4, this time on a 2-run single from Brock Keener.
And there's exactly what we talked about, the aggressiveness from Maddox Houghton on the last at-bat, not hurting the Bisons, as instead of 1 run scoring, 2 runs are able to score for the Wolverines to stretch the lead here. Wolverines offense stagnant in the first 3 innings, but a couple of really good pieces of hitting, from whether it be from Marcus Chavez, Joe Donovan, or Brock Keener. The bottom of the Wolverines lineup really coming through clutch here as Jack Blomgren steps to the plate.
Blomgren, the 8th Wolverine hitter in this inning, pops one high towards the right side. The first baseman Soros giving chase near the Wolverine bullpen and runs out of room as he bangs into that sidewall and the ball gets out of play. So Blomgren get another chance here, down 0-1.
Yeah, and Katchmar really sort of unlucky now, giving up 4 earned runs in 3 2/3. But he's really pitched a good ball game, just a couple hard hit balls in this inning. But unfortunate to have given up 4 runs in 3 3 2/3 his ERA has gone up to 2.91 from 1.5 at the start of the day.
Just about all this for the Wolverines happening with 2 outs. Christian Bullock led off the inning with the walk, advanced on a wild pitch, then 2 outs were recorded before anything else happened. So I've seen a single walk, single that's pushed across 4 runs for the Wolverines as Blomgren squares to bunt and pulls back, and then that pitch misses for a ball, 1-1. Keener taking a lead off first. Not really much of a stolen base threat. The catcher turned first baseman for a now for the Wolverines. Will advance to second, though, as this pitch bounces in the opposing batter's box. Perry blocks a piece of it, but it gets near the Wolverine dugout. So Keener will be in scoring position now, and a 2-1 count on Jack Blomgren.
Yeah, and that wild pitch is what allowed the first run of the inning on the allowing Christian Bullock to get to second before Marcus Chavez's single. And wild pitches really hurt the Bisons yesterday. So many of them allowing Wolverine runners to get into scoring position, and he would score on some wild pitches. So Kachmar's going to have to control that as he goes on in this game.
The 2-1 pitch to Blomgren now misses high and away for a ball, 3-1. So Wolverines doing a good job being pretty patient in this inning. Haven't chased a ton of pitches that I could remember in here. Most of the strikes seem to have been either taken or fouled off. Blomgren in the driver's seat here, 3-1. Saber tries to put a big swing on this one. As Kachmar has to reset now with the runner on second, Keener, peering in to see the signs from the catcher, Perry. Kachmar now set, ready for the 3-1 to the freshman Blomgren. Misses low and away and skips away again from Perry, so Keener will advance to third as Blomgren trots down to first. See if he takes an aggressive turn. He does not, heads back to first. The old Little League play where you try to swipe second on the walk does not occur here. And it'll be runners at the corners now as Wolverines cycle back up to the top of their order with a K.O. Thomas.
Yeah, and really no reason to try to get second base there for Blomgren with K.O. Thomas coming up. You want to give the top of your lineup the chance to get a guy home from third. Don't want to make that second out or the third out of the inning at second base with the guy on third base and the top of the order coming up.
Blomgren is 1 for 1 on stolen bases today. As you mentioned, I wouldn't expect to see too much aggressiveness with 2 outs here, and you're back up to the top of the order with a K.O. Thomas, the 9th batter of the inning for the Wolverines. Thomas 0 for 2 today, lined out to second and flew out to center so far. He takes the first pitch inside for a ball, 1-0.
Yeah, really a key part of this game for the Wolverines. The Wolverines bullpen has struggled here early in the season, so with a 4-1 lead, the ability to stretch that out to a 5 or 6-1 lead would really be huge for the Wolverines.
Second pitch here to Thomas, misses low and away, bounces in the dirt again. This time Perry able to get in front of it and stop it, hold the runners at first and third respectively.
Yeah, and Chris Kachmar really struggling now with his control. Had really been in complete control of the game through 3 2/3 innings, and now is just really struggling with the Wolverines lineup.
2-0 pitch here to Thomas is taken for a strike. Thomas, not sure if he doesn't agree with that or made a little hand gesture.
Yeah, Thomas trying to become the 6th straight Wolverines runner to reach base with 2 outs here in the top of the 4th inning.
He'll have to do so at least in a 2-1 count here, as that's what this pitch will be, as it catches the inside corner for a strike. That one Thomas definitely does not agree with.
Yeah, another one of those high inside strikes that have caught the plate according to the home plate umpire that I've been ready to talk about how they were a ball and how Thomas was in a 3-1 count, but just caught the inside corner there, I guess.
Thomas stands just 5'8", so a smaller strike zone there, but apparently that pitch did not miss high enough. The 2-2 pitch did miss wide enough, though, and that count will go to 3-2.
Yeah, this time no way it could be ruled a strike as the ball was a good foot outside of the strike zone into the left-handed batter's box.
So Blomgren over at first will be on the move here with the full count pitch and 2 outs. So the Wolverine leadoff hitter, K.O. Thomas. Keener will not be on the move over at third. Have to wait a second here as K.O. Thomas took an extra second to step into the batter's box with signs being given out. Chris Kachmar now ready, comes set, the 3-2 pitch. Bounces in the dirt, ball 4. Just nice stop there by Perry to prevent Keener from scoring, but Blomgren will advance to second, and K.O. Thomas will trot on down to first base.
Right fielder.
So the bases will be loaded for the man that led off the inning with the walk, Christian Bullock.
Yeah, and that'll be the fourth walk of the inning issued by Chris Kachmar after not giving up any in the first three innings, I should say. So really, that control has been a major issue here in this inning. Only a couple hits from the Wolverines. So much of the damage done by walks, just like it was yesterday evening.
Bullock did not take the bat off his shoulder in his first at-bat of this inning. This time he does, and he fouls one straight back over our heads and out of play to go down in the count 0-1. To lead off this inning, Bullock reached on 4 straight balls, none of them particularly close. Ended up coming around to score on the Marcus Chavez RBI single that at the time tied the game. 0-1 pitch now to Bullock. Misses low and in for a ball and even things up at 1-1. Bullock's been on base both times he's been at the plate today. Once on an error by the shortstop Blake Thomas, and once on that aforementioned walk to lead off this inning. Was erased on a stolen base attempt back in the first. After a brief meeting on the mound, Kachmar working from the windup, the 1-1 pitch. Big swing and a miss there at a breaking ball from Bullock, and now the count goes to 1-2.
Yeah, really good job there, pulling the string by Kachmar to get Thomas out in front.
So now with the bases loaded, a 1-2 count here on Christian Bullock, a chance for Kachmar to finally get out of this inning. Glares in for his sign from the catcher, Perry. Now winds up, and the pitch bounces in the dirt. Good job to lay off there from Bullock, and a good job from Perry to keep it in front of him and prevent another run from scoring. But the count will move to 2 balls and 2 strikes. Bullock, the lefty, back foot all the way back near the catcher and umpire. Wide stance in that lefty batter's box. Waits the 2-2 pitch. It misses. No, it does not miss on the inside corner. Strike 3. Based on the pause there for a second by the home plate umpire, I thought that was going to be ball 3, but it did catch that inside corner and sets Bullock down looking. So Kachmar finally able to get out of the inning, but the Wolverines push across 4 runs, all of them with 2 outs in the inning. And they take a 4-1 lead here over Lipscomb through 3.5 innings at Ken Dugan Field. You're listening to WCBN Sports coverage of Michigan baseball, the official student radio broadcast for Michigan baseball.
Yeah, and that was a distinct change from the rest of the ball game. That inning was about 25 minutes. Up to that point, the entire ball game had been about 50 minutes, and so that inning was about that half inning, not even a full inning, was about half the length of the entire rest of the ball game. And I was about to say, Chris Kachmar obviously struggled in that inning, but even despite that, I don't fully understand why he is Lipscomb's Saturday starter rather than their Friday starter. He's touching 90 on the gun compared to 84 yesterday from Habegger, and really looked in control through 3 2/3. Obviously struggled, allowing six straight guys to reach base for Michigan, or 7 straight guys, excuse me, after K.O. Thomas's walk. But not entirely sure, because Chris Kachmar did look really good for those first 3 2/3 innings. But very good job from Michigan to not be discouraged by their sluggish start and to stay patient and stay on top of things and be able to get going with that 2-out rally that really turned the game around. They were struggling down 1-0 and now up 4-1. Looking like they're in solid control and handing it back to Carl Kaufman, who's going to be relied on, obviously, to get back to the form that he showed in those 6 straight strikeouts and hopefully get through 6 or 7 innings for the Wolverines before turning it over to the bullpen that struggled a little bit in this series.
Yeah, Kaufman at 47 pitches through the 3 innings he's pitched. He'll face the 4, 5, and 6 hitters of Lipscomb order: Jeffrey Crisan, Josh Martinez, and Jake Perry. First time through these 3 batters, he struck all 3 of them out swinging. It was Crisan, the big righty, to mention he stands in at 5'10", 237 out of Apoca, Florida.
Yeah, Chrisann, one of Kaufman's 6 straight strikeout victims back in the second inning.
He stands in there, barely has time to get set, and Kaufman fires in a first pitch strike, 0-1. That's the second or third time I've seen Kaufman do that while the batter is still getting set up in the batter's box. He's already in the windup and firing away. No chance Chrisann had to hit that one. And now ahead in the count, 0-1. Kaufman tries to hit that outside corner but can't, and the count evens up at 1-1. Makes it even worse for a batter like Chrisann as he holds those hands right out in front of him. So that first pitch that was in there for a strike is a little intimidating. You don't want to get pounded on the hands or you're not even ready, but he deposits the third pitch of the at-bat, a ground ball past Akeo Thomas and into right field for a base hit. So he'll be on first to lead off the inning here for Lipscomb in the bottom of the fourth.
Yeah, good piece of hitting by Chrisann to stay on it and send it the opposite way. Kaufman's got to settle down a little bit here. Was in complete control after those 6 straight strikeouts, but then the tapper last inning really in the bottom of the third from Firstus really got things going. 2 straight hard hit balls from Thomas and Sorrells, and then that hard hit one there from Chrisann. So Kaufman has to get back on top of things if he wants to get through 5 or 6 innings.
Josh Martinez, now the left fielder, stepping in. The first pitch is in the dirt, and he went around with the check swing. It looked like he did from up here. The appeal went to the umpire standing out by second base, so the count will be 0-1. So now the 0-1 pitch in there for a strike, 0-2. Martinez, very wide stance at lefty batter's box. Kaufman checks the runner. Chrisann at first, not a threat to steal, hasn't attempted one yet this year. Barely taking a lead off there. The 0-2 pitch misses high and away for a ball, 1-2.
Yeah, it's one of the first 2 strike counts that Kaufman's been in a while, so we'll see what he does here.
Just 1-2 pitch is grounded towards second. Akeo Thomas makes the play, ranging over towards first, bobbles it for a second, then throws it past the first baseman Keener. Donovan's there for backup though, so Chrisann cannot advance to third on the play. We'll see how that one scored. I'd imagine an error as Akeo Thomas just booted that one off the heel of his glove.
Yeah, I'm guessing it's got to be an error. Akeo Thomas, as you said Akeo Thomas fields it. Looked like he had it. Yep, just ruled an error by Akeo Thomas. But he looked like he had it ranging over to his left and then just kind of slipped to the ground, and as he bobbled the ball and tried to flip it over to first to Brock Keener to get the out, it was offline, but luckily it was just a slow dribbler and no one was able to advance on the throw, or the whatever you want to call that, the attempted pass over to first base. But not a throwing error from Akeo Thomas, but a fielding error as he wasn't able to come up with it.
Yeah, catcher Jake Perry steps in and swings and misses at strike 1. As you mentioned, almost like an attempted pass there. Akeo Thomas was sprawled out on the ground, trying to make a throw with his arm basically on the ground. It just rolled and trickled past Keener.
Like trying to slide it on the ground like a curling rock or something.
The 0-1 pitch catches the outside corner for a strike, 0-2. Kaufman, despite giving up the leadoff single and the reach on an error there, still working quickly and ahead in the count, 0-2. Comes set, the pitch, spikes that one in the dirt, low and away. It's fielded there by Donovan. No one advances, but the count goes to 1-2.
Yeah, I don't mind the idea on the 0-2 count of the waste pitch, trying to get Perry going. That breaking ball's been effective for him today. That one was just a little bit further off the plate.
It's a little more dangerous when you have runners on base like Chrisann and Martinez at
certainly don't want to get 2 guys
first
in scoring position.
This 1-2 pitch is lined up the middle for a base hit. Ingman comes in. Chrisann, not really a threat to score there on that one, as he had to hold up and see if Akeo Thomas would be able to make a play. As it stands, though, that's the 3rd straight batter to reach here to start the inning. They'll have bases loaded with nobody out for Maddox Houghton.
Yeah, just line back up the middle. Hard hit ball, and that's now we've seen 6 of the last 7 runners reach base on Karl Kaufman. 2 of those were the error and then the dribbler by Firstis last inning, but 4 hard hit balls of the first 7 after no hard hit balls early in the game. So Kaufman's going to have to regain control here.
So bases juice, nobody out. Lipscomb down 3 with a chance to get right back into this one. Tying run on first, go-ahead run at the plate. That go-ahead run, Maddox Houghton takes the first pitch, low and away for a ball, 1-0.
Yeah, and right-hander Robbie Knox is up in the Lipscomb pen, warming now. But if these struggles keep going for Karl Kaufman, Coach Eric Bakich is going to have to warm someone up in the Michigan pen as well.
This was often where Michigan pitchers tended to lose control yesterday when they started putting runners on base.
Yeah, but yesterday they had that luxury in an 11-1 ball game when they started giving up those runs. Today's game 4-1, bases juiced with nobody out. Really dangerous situation here for the Wolverines.
The 1-0 pitch caught the outside corner for strike 1. It's evened up at 1 ball and 1 strike, and now Kaufman ready to fire that 1-1 pitch. There's a bounce towards the middle. K.O. Thomas makes the play. It's over to second for 1. The relay throw not going to be in time to catch the speedy center fielder Houghton. So an RBI fielder's choice there has Lipscomb back within 2 now. The score, Michigan 4, Lipscomb 2.
Yeah, and Houghton certainly has good speed, 3 stolen bases and 4 attempts on the season. That was done a little bit slowly by the Wolverines. I was about to say it was just what the doctor ordered with the ground ball right to K.O. Thomas, but it was just tapped a little bit too slowly to turn 2. Maybe you could have charged in on him more, but you got to be safe there and take the lead out at second base. Don't want to rush things and commit your second error of the inning if you're K.O. Thomas. Huge to get the first out of the inning, and now the tying run is only on first base with one out. Yeah, so not quite as dangerous of a situation as the Wolverines were in before that at bat.
Yeah, it was a big high chopper that K.O. Thomas had to wait back on. And that results in runners on first and third here for Lipscomb. 1 away, and Coleman Goodwin stepping up to the plate. He takes the first pitch for a strike, 0-1. Goodwin's 0 for 1 on the game with a strikeout. Not uncommon from this Lipscomb lineup so far. As the 0-1 pitch misses low and away for a ball, 1-1. Goodwin getting the start in right field after not playing in yesterday's ball game. A redshirt freshman out of Brentwood, Tennessee. Stands in there, and the 1-1 pitch is on the outside corner for a strike, 1-2.
Yeah, another huge pitch here for Kaufman. If you can get the strikeout and a good position to get out of the inning with only 1 run, or even better if you could get the double play.
Kaufman comes at that left lead foot a little out in front of the right foot, and a breaking ball swung on and missed for strike 3.
Yeah.
So Goodwin goes down for the second time on strike. There's now 2 gone in the inning, and Kaufman's got a chance to get out of it.
Yeah, absolutely huge to get back to the strikeout there. 7th strikeout of the game. First in, I guess, 45 minutes, even though it's only been 2 outs since his last strikeout. Or 2 outs from Lipscomb.
It'll be Jackson, first ace, stepping in there. Takes the first pitch on the inside corner for a strike, 0-1. It was first ace that got the first hit of the ball game for Lipscomb. He was way out in front of it, 0-2 breaking ball back in the 3rd inning where he tapped it on the infield. Ended up coming around to score the first run of the ball game just last inning. This time he's in there with a chance to drive one in, but he's way out in front of a breaking ball on that one. It goes down 0-2.
Yeah, great job changing speeds there by Kaufman. That one dropping down to 80 on the gun after hitting 90 on the previous couple fastballs.
We'll see if he goes back to that breaking ball. It's been oh so good as a put-away pitch today. He does, and gets a swing and a miss and a ball in the dirt, fielded by Donovan, tossed down to first base to retire the side. So Lipscomb loads the bases with nobody out, but they're only able to scratch across 1 run at the end of 4 innings here at Ken Dugan Field. The score, Michigan 4, Lipscomb 2 on WCBN Sports broadcast of Michigan baseball.
Yeah, fantastic job there from Karl Kaufman. Kind of the opposite of last inning when he really wasn't in any trouble with 2 outs, nobody on, and then got himself into trouble with 2 outs this inning, nobody out, bases loaded, and then 1 out, guys on first and third, and from that 1 out, first and third position, able to strike out the next 2 batters, get back to those strikeouts to get to 8 on the game. Again, using that breaking ball oh so effectively and getting out of the jam and holding the 2-run lead for the Wolverines, which is really big as they head into the 5th and 6th innings here. Wolverines going to be needing to push that lead to feel safe going into the final innings, but there was a really solid opportunity for Lipscomb to get this game down to 1 or even tie it up there. So fantastic poise from Kaufman to avoid falling into that trap.
Teo, you mentioned there was action last inning in the Lipscomb bullpen, but it's not going to matter here as Chris Kaczmar is going to get a chance to start the 5th inning. After struggling a bit back in the 4th, he had to face 10 batters when Michigan pushed across 4 runs.
Yeah, he struggled in the 4th inning, but had been really effective up until that point. So manager head coach Jeff Forehand is going to give him the opportunity to get back in his flow here in the 5th inning and hopefully avoid going to that bullpen that had to pitch 7 innings in yesterday's ball game.
And while Kaczmar did struggle there in the 4th, it took till 2 outs, and he was really cruising until then, erasing any Wolverine batter that would get on base. Just pitching magnificently until kind of working himself into trouble last inning. So hard to disagree with the decision there to let him go out and restart here in the top of the 5th. In the top of the 5th here, he'll start off facing the Wolverine center fielder Jonathan Engelman. Engelman 0 for 2 on the day, struck out looking back in the 1st and lined out just short back in the 4th. First pitch of this at-bat is in there for a strike, 0-1. Engelman batting a nice .269 on the year. The 0-1 pitch bounces low and away in the dirt. Evens things up at 1-1. The righty steps in fairly close to the plate with that heel right back near the catcher. Takes the 1-1 breaking ball in the outside corner for a strike, 1-2. Engelman, as he does before every pitch, steps out, takes a long, hard breath, keeps that bat out in front of him, now waggles it ever so slightly above his right shoulder and takes this 1-2 pitch, deposited in the air towards center, ranging over to his right is Houghton. He camps under it and makes the grab for out number 1.
Yeah, just reached out toward that one, never going to make great contact. A little bit fooled and just caught off balance and poked it out towards center. Made solid contact, but never going to do any damage with that type of swing.
That'll bring up the Wolverine left fielder now, switch hitting Miles Lewis. As with his counterpart Engelman, also 0 for 2 with a strikeout and a lineout on the day. Kaczmar now works from the windup. First pitch to Lewis is on the outside corner for a strike. Lewis does not agree, but doesn't matter. Counts 0-1. Lewis now taps the opposite side of the plate near the right-handed batter's box. The 0-1 pitch from the righty. Kaczmar is in that same spot on the outside corner, goes to 0-2. Kaczmar seemingly finding his groove, getting ahead of the second straight Wolverine hitter.
Yeah, back in control like he was early in the game. This is rewarding his coach's decision to put him back out there for the 5th inning.
0-2 pitch is muscled off towards short, running in and trying to make a play as Thomas, but he boots it off the heel of his glove and it skips towards second. So Miles Lewis will reach. And it looked like it was going to be a tough play, but probably the 3rd error of the day on Blake Thomas.
I was going to say, I think it might be ruled an infield single, but if it's ruled an error, it'll be the 3rd of the day on Blake Thomas, coming in on it off the heel of his glove, just booted over there toward the second baseman, Firstis. But yeah, it's called a single to the shortstop, infield single. Would have been a tough play for Thomas as he was coming in on the ball, but just a rough fielding day from Blake Thomas.
It was in on the hands of Lewis, so it had some funky spin on the ball as well as it skipped off the pitcher's mound and kind of shot over to Thomas's right. So Miles Lewis will get his first hit of the ball game today, and that'll bring up Marcus Chavez, who's already got a hit on the ball game. He drove in the first run for the Wolverines just last inning. He fouls the first pitch off to the right, 0-1. Chavez now steps out to get the sign from head coach Eric Bakich. All the Wolverines have their sheet of signs and corresponding plays they would like to run. See him looking at every time Eric Bakich gives them a sign. The 0-1 pitch here, faking the steal, was Lewis at first. And Chavez takes inside for a ball, 1-1. Lewis is a threat to steal over there. He's attempted a couple stolen bases, has not managed to rack one up yet this season, but more than showed his speed last season as a member of the Wolverine starting lineup.
Yeah, 0-2 on the stolen bases this season. One of many Wolverines who've attempted stolen bases so far this season. The whole top of the lineup really a threat to run.
This one is lined up the middle, one hop right to the second base and first base, who was running over to cover where Miles Lewis was stealing. He fielded, stepped on the bag for one, and fired over to second to record the double play. So a little unlucky there for the Wolverines as they go down here in the top of the fifth inning. After 4.5 innings of play here at Lipscomb University, the score still Michigan 4, Lipscomb 2. Listening to the WCBN Sports broadcast of Michigan baseball. As I was going to say right before Miles Lewis then took off that very next pitch. He had 19 stolen bases last year. Didn't really have any this season, but it was all washed out. As a little bit unlucky there from Marcus Chavez ends the inning. And as we've made it through 4.5 here, ready to turn it over in just a second to the likes of Teddy Gutkin and Max Brill. Teddy, what have you seen through the first 4.5 innings that have this game, first of all, much different from yesterday, and second of all, have the Wolverines up by just a couple runs here going into the second half of this ballgame?
Well, first of all, the biggest factor in those first 4.5 innings was that huge rally at the end of the top of the fourth. Michigan was down to 2 outs. They proceed to have 6 consecutive runners reach base, bring 4 runners across the score. This is a team that struggled a little bit on the offensive side of the ball. It's great to see that they scored 16 runs yesterday, and now they managed to put together maybe their best rally of the entire season to bring 4 across. They're up 4-2. Also, a tremendous pitching performance by Carl Kaufman. He had 10 strikeouts last week against number 8 Stanford, doing more of the same here. Had a bit of a rough patch at the end of the 4th inning when he allowed a run to score. But he's got 7 strikeouts, and he's really done anything and everything the Wolverines could have asked him to do. And now I'm joined by my play-by-play man, Max Brill.
Yeah, Teddy, couldn't agree more with you on that. Kaufman has been nothing short of outstanding so far today. First pitch from him here in the bottom of the 5th, grounded to the left side and gets through for a base hit.
Tough break there by third baseman Kerr. Had a chance to reach for that, just got over his glove.
Yeah, Kerr not able to field that cleanly. Blake Thomas reaches for the second time today, had a base hit in the 3rd inning. Now it'll be Cade Sorrells, the first baseman for the Lipscomb Bisons, coming up to the dish. He's 1 for 2 today with a single and an RBI.
Kaufman continues to struggle to pitch around a leadoff man. His batting average, or batters are batting 400 against him when in the leadoff spot.
And Kaufman takes a look over to first base, looks in, gets the sign and the delivery on the outside corner for strike 1.
Great pitch there by Carl Kaufman, painted the outside corner.
And a pickoff attempt by Kaufman. Not able to get Blake Thomas. First baseman Brock Keener tosses it right back. Kaufman looks in, gets the sign, and comes set. Pitching from the stretch here in the bottom of the 5th. And another check over to Brock Keener. Nothing doing there for Blake Thomas. Thomas is one of the speedier guys on this Lipscomb roster so far this season, 8 for 8 on stolen base attempts.
Definitely one of the fastest runners on this team.
And a bunt attempt there from Cade Sorrells, not able to bunt it fair, so it'll be 0-2 for Carl Kaufman working on Cade Sorrells. Michigan leading here in the bottom of the 5th inning, 4-2. One on first base, nobody out.
Sorrells is a sophomore. He had 268 in his freshman season. One of the best young hitters on this team.
Kaufman comes set, and the delivery. Way outside and high. First ball of the count. It's 1-2 to Sorrells. Infield double play depth up the middle. That's Akeo Thomas, Jack Blomgren at second and short. Kaufman comes set, and another check over to first base. Nearly throws it away. Keener able to stop it, though.
You can see Keener playing so close to the line, not trying to make sure nothing gets past him there.
Kaufman looking in, getting the sign. Comes set.
And another pickoff attempt. This one almost falls out of play too, but Keener able to save it.
And Kaufman hyper aware of speedy shortstop Blake Thomas on first base for the Lipscomb Bisons. Counts 1-2. Kaufman comes set. And a slider just misses the outside part of the plate. Michigan not happy with the no call. Kaufman unfazed, so it'll be 2-2 now to first baseman Cade Sorrells of the Lipscomb Bisons.
And again, you see Blake Thomas taking a lead off first.
Kaufman's pitch grounded to first base. Keener throws it into left field, trying to turn the double play. Jack Blomgren couldn't handle the wild throw, and it'll go as an E3. Sorrells will reach on the error.
That's a rare error from Jack Blomgren, one of the best defensive players on this team. Usually he makes those plays routinely. This time throws it into center field.
And Keener unable to start the double play off there, so it'll be first and second, nobody out for the three-hole hitter for the Lipscomb Bisons, Zeke Dodson, their third baseman. So far today, 0 for 2 with the strikeout. One of many strikeout victims today for Carl Kaufman.
He also committed an error in the first inning, failing to communicate with second baseman Jackson first base.
And the bunt to third. Jimmy Kerr able to handle this one, but advancing the runners is Zeke Dodson. Good call there from Lipscomb Bison's head coach Jeff Forehand to get the runners over. Now he's got one out, runners in scoring position at second and third. And it'll be Jeffrey Chrisan, who has been by far the best hitter for this Lipscomb Bison's team today. Chrisan hitting .519 on the season. 1 for 2 today with a strikeout, single, and a run after a ground ball base hit to right field in the fourth inning.
Grew up idolizing David Ortiz, and as you can see, he wears number 34.
Kaufman comes set, and the pitch lined into left field. That'll be extra bases for Chrisan. 2 will score for the Bisons. Chrisan heading towards second, fielding it is Miles Lewis in the corner and throws it in. Akeo Thomas fields it at second, but not in time to get Chrisan, and we are all knotted up at 4 here at Ken Dugan Field in the bottom of the 5th inning.
And a fantastic piece of hitting there by Jeffrey Chrisan, getting it just past the third base line, dribbling to the 330 sign in left field, driving in 2 to tie the score. And he's showing David Ortiz-like power there on that line drive.
Yeah, great piece of hitting there from Chrisan after 2 RBIs and 2 hits yesterday. Another 2 RBIs and 2 hits today. Chrisan has no doubt been the team's MVP, raises his batting average to .536 on the year, which admittedly in a small sample size of just about 28 at-bats, still a very impressive batting average.
Absolutely, and he's been one of the few batters that the Wolverines have been unable to solve to start this road trip. He has an extra base hit in both games so far, both RBI doubles.
So Josh Martinez now coming to the dish, 0 for 2. Strikeout reached on an error on Akeo Thomas in the 4th.
And interestingly, his dad, Gil Martinez, played baseball professionally.
Martinez hitless so far in the series, has reached once on an error and once on a walk. Takes the first pitch low and outside from Carl Kaufman. Count is 1-0. 1 out here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Michigan and Lipscomb tied after the 2 RBI double by Jeffrey Chrisan. Kaufman takes the sign from Donovan. Comes set. And Martinez takes it the other way into left field. Chrisan will move up to third base. Carl Kaufman having a little bit of trouble here with the Lipscomb Bisons lineup the third time through the order.
And he looks to be a little bit rattled here. His control's not nearly what it was in the first 2 or 3 innings. He's kind of struggling to find the zone here. And he's just not getting the luck. The defense isn't in the right position that they were in the first 3 innings.
So Michigan,
definitely a rough inning for Carl Kaufman.
Michigan will have an opportunity here for a double play. Runners on the corners, 1 out. Catcher Jake Perry coming up for Lipscomb. So far today, 1 for 2 with a strikeout.
He's also one of the team's worst hitters. He hits .211, and he's tied for the team lead with 11 strikeouts. So a free swinger.
Batting average up to .225 today, Teddy, after his base hit in the 4th inning.
Kaufman just needs to find.
And Kaufman's first pitch roped into left field, so Lipscomb will take a 5-4 lead here on the single from Jake Perry, his first RBI of the day, and he is now 2 for 3. Lipscomb leading Michigan 5-4, and the wheels falling off a little bit for Carl Kaufman here, Teddy.
Yeah, I was about to say all Kaufman needs is maybe to find the zone and get a strike on that count to get his confidence back. But these hits just keep coming, and they keep coming in bunches. Almost every hit this inning has come on the first or second pitch of an at-bat. The Bison are really putting the pressure on here on Carl Kaufman. I'm shocked we haven't seen a visit from head coach Eric Bakich.
So Maddox Houghton coming up to the dish, hitting .276 on the year so far today. 0 for 2, a strikeout victim, and grounded into a fielder's choice in the 4th. Lipscomb so far in this inning has pushed 3 across, 1 on the last at bat. Kaufman now comes set, checks on second, and a bunt from Maddox Houghton.
And we have some movement in the Michigan bullpen. Ben Dragani is warming up. He's a freshman lefty.
So the last pitch from Kaufman, getting to the backstop. So the runners move up. Lipscomb now has men on second and third, Martinez and Perry.
Now that breaks up the opportunity for double play with men on second and third.
Houghton will be swinging away here with an 0-1 count. Kaufman pitching from the stretch here in the bottom of the 5th.
Houghton's got some power. He has 2 home runs on the season.
And Houghton drives it deep into left field, giving chase is Miles Lewis, and he tracks it down with a diving catch in the left center field gap, but one will score on the sacrifice fly from Maddox Houghton.
Tremendous effort there by Miles Lewis, though. He was able to prevent what could have been a 2-run double, maybe even triple. Luckily able to grab with his glove, limit the damage to only 1.
So Lipscomb able to push their 4th run of the inning across. They now lead the Wolverines 6-4 in the bottom of the 5th inning. 2 outs now after the sacrifice fly. Coming to the dish for the Bisons, Coleman Goodwin, the freshman right fielder.
And it wouldn't surprise me if this ends up being the last batter of the game for Carl Kaufman if he can't get out of it here.
Kaufman delivers and induces a swing and a miss from Goodwin. Strike 1.
Now we're starting to see the control we saw in the first 3 innings from Carl Kaufman. He's been trying to rediscover that for the past 2 frames. Finally able to get a swing and strike.
So Kaufman gets his sign from catcher Joe Donovan. Steps off and steps back on. Takes the sign once again and comes set. The offering. Grounded to shortstop. Blomgren raging to his left, and it eats him up. He will have to hold it, and it'll go down as an E6. 1 run scores for Lipscomb. That's catcher Jake Perry, and Lipscomb now has put up a crooked number with a 5 spot here in the bottom of the 5th inning.
Yeah, Max, it's been a disastrous inning here for Carl Kaufman. He looked so sharp to start the game. And a rare error there from Jack Blomgren, who's normally one of the team's best defenders.
Yeah, Blomgren, after a stellar defensive play in the 1st inning on first baseman Cade Sorrells, ranging back, making a diving catch in short left field, has the ground ball eat him up. And we have a pinch runner here for Coleman Goodwin. It'll be the lefty, number 12, Carson Wright for Lipscomb, taking his place on first base, pinch running.
And his teammates say he's a great leader within the clubhouse. He says his ambition is to inspire those around him and help them reach their full potential.
And here we have Coach Eric Bakich taking a slow walk out to the mound. We'll see if we get a substitution here for Michigan.
And we are. It's going to be Ben Dragani, the freshman lefty.
So Dragani throwing his final pitches in the bullpen. We'll see if Coach Bakich ends up making the move.
It looks like Dragani is beginning to leave his bullpen session, getting ready to enter the game, but we don't see anything definite just yet. And here he comes out of the bullpen, number 21, Ben Dragani.
So Ben Dragani entering for the Michigan Wolverines this season, a 4.70 ERA, 1.29 WHIP. 4 strikeouts in 7 2/3 innings of work to go along with 4 earned runs. Dragani had a solid outing his last time out against Stanford, throwing 4 perfect innings.
It is a young pitcher with a lot of potential. As a high schooler, he was the 2017 Gatorade Player of the Year for the state of Wisconsin.
So Dragani, the southpaw, taking his warm-up pitches off the mound. When he gets done, he will have a runner on first base. Carson Wright for the Lipscomb Bisons. Pinch running for Coleman Goodwin. And the Wolverines trailing 4-7 here in the bottom of the 5th with 2 outs.
Quick note, Carl Kaufman entered the game with a 3.78 ERA. After that disastrous inning, his ERA has ballooned to 4.64 on the season. Definitely a change of pace given what we saw last weekend at Stanford.
Yeah, Kaufman able to strike out 10 in his previous outing against Stanford. Today, coming up with just 8 strikeouts, which still nothing to sneeze at. A pretty solid outing, but I'm sure he would have loved to have limited the Lipscomb Bisons to fewer than 7 runs.
Absolutely. And I think a lot of those runs came at the expense of some errors on the defensive side. Saw a couple balls that the Wolverines are usually able to get to, especially that ground ball to Jack Blomgren. Usually that's a routine play. Wolverines just don't seem nearly as focused on the defensive side. They're not able to get the placement that they were beneficial of last night.
Yeah, yesterday Michigan, a clean defensive effort, no errors the entire game, and so far today, not even finished with 5 full innings. They've committed 3 errors, 1 throwing error on Brock Keener, and then 2 fielding errors, 1 on shortstop Jack Blomgren and 1 on second baseman Akeo Thomas.
And a change of fortune, I believe yesterday the Lipscomb Bison had 5 errors. Today only have 2, pardon me.
So Ben Dragani finished with his warm-ups. He will be pitching to second baseman Jackson Firstace of the Lipscomb Bisons. 1 for 2 today with a single and a strikeout. Takes the first pitch high. Count is 1-0.
Last season he batted .333 with 9 hits on 27 at-bats. Limited sample size, but he definitely shows some potential.
And this season, Firstace hitting .316. Pitch there from Dragani paints the outside corner for strike 1. It's 1-1 to Firstace.
You can see Keener playing very close to the first baseline.
Dragani comes set and gets the call on the outside corner. 1-2 here for Ben Dragani. So coming in, throwing strikes immediately to Jackson Firstace.
It is a huge pitch here for Ben Dragani, having a chance to get out of what's been one of the longest innings of the Wolverines season so far.
Dragani comes set, the 1-2. And called out on strikes is Jackson Firstace. So Lipscomb sends all 9 men on their lineup to the dish in the 5th inning. They get 5 runs on 4 hits, 2 errors committed by the Wolverines, and 1 left on base. After 5, it's Lipscomb 7, Michigan 4.
And a great effort there by Ben Dragani. He's been so great in limited action this year. Had 4 perfect innings in the Stanford series. Again, getting the Wolverines out of trouble and not preserving a lead, but keeping the damage to 7-4.
So Michigan now will come up in the top of the 6th inning, looking to get some of these 7 runs, 5 allowed in just the 5th inning back. After Michigan put up a crooked number in the top of the 4th, Lipscomb able to respond in the bottom of the 5th by putting up 5.
And we have a defensive substitution here as Carson Wright will step into for right field, replacing Goodwin.
Final stat line today for Carl Kaufman, 4 2/3 innings pitched, 4 earned runs, no walks, and 8 strikeouts. Faced 26 batters, threw 82 pitches, 60 of which for strikes, and exits the outing with a 4.64 ERA. Teddy, what did you see from him today that you liked, didn't like? I know for me personally, the no walks is huge.
Absolutely, and this game was really a tale of 2 halves, if you will, for lack of a better term, for Carl Kaufman. For the first half of this game, he looked like a player that could potentially emerge as a huge ace for this Wolverines team. But for the 4th and 5th innings, the wheels just completely came off. He lost his control, wasn't able to get the location he was in the first 3 innings. Definitely something Bakich is going to need to work on with him as the season continues.
And the first pitch in for a called strike against third baseman Jimmy Kerr here for the Wolverines in the top of the 6th.
Kerr's 0 for 1 today, by the way.
And the pitch grounded down to the first baseman, Cade Sorrells. He takes it himself, and that'll be the first out for the Wolverines here in the top of the 6th.
And Kerr's still really struggling to put the barrel on the ball here in this series. It's been a mix of groundouts and strikeouts, really.
Yeah,
hasn't been able to get in a rhythm.
Kerr has 0 hits in the series, has reached base 3 times, and scored each time he reached base. 3 times on a walk and once on a hit by a pitch, scored each of the 3 times he walked. Now coming to the plate is catcher Joe Donovan for the Wolverines, facing still Chris Cashmar. And the pitch high and tight to Joe Donovan for ball 1. Count is 1-0.
Donovan had 2 hits yesterday, also had an RBI single.
Cashmar comes set, pitching from the windup, delivers to Donovan. And Donovan puts a swing on it, grounds it down to the third baseline foul.
That ball was hit near the area where the cameraman station. Of course, we had that scary collision with the ball and one of the cameramen over there in the top of the 2nd inning. Appears to be okay now, though.
And warming up for the Lipscomb Bisons right now, Palmer Steventon. Pitch high and tight once again to Joe Donovan, so count 2-1 on the freshman catcher. The 2-1 from Cashmar. Donovan swings and misses. Count is 2-2. Donovan looking to get these Michigan bats going here. They've been relatively silent since the 4th inning. Last inning, sending only 3 men to the plate, and so far 0 for 1 in this inning. The 2-2 to Donovan. Chops it down the third baseline foul. And we'll do it again, count 2-2.
Kochmar's pitch count getting up there. He has 88 total pitches today. He's walked 4, but he's also struck out 4. Not the most even outing, but he's done just enough to give Lipscomb a lead.
The 2-2 from Cashmar gets Joe Donovan on a swing and miss, a breaking pitch, 77 miles an hour. So Donovan heads back to the dugout, his 2nd strikeout today. And Cashmar now has 6. 5.
It's all good. Brock Keener step into the dish now. He is...
Keener 2 of 2, has 2 RBIs. No runs scored today. Pitch from Cashmar is low and inside, bounces in the dirt. So Keener, count on Keener is 1-0. Steps out and steps back in. Chris Cashmar ready to work quickly. And the pitch taken on the outside corner for strike 1. Count is 1-1 to Keener.
Keener's been very disciplined at the plate, got some nice long at-bats in the first couple innings. Looking to do more of the same here to get a rally going and also force Kashmar to work.
Kashmar alters his grip, comes set, and delivers the 1-1. Strike on the outside corner. The fastball at 90 from Kashmar, so despite us getting into the later innings of this game, top of the 6th, Kashmar still bringing the heat. It's 1-2.
And it looks like his control's also gotten better as the game's gone on. It's almost like fine wine aging over time. Started a little rocky, but he's really picked it up and delivered excellent performance.
The 1-2 from Kashmar swung on and fouled toward the backstop by Keener. So staying alive is Keener. Number 35, the senior for these Michigan Wolverines, out of Richmond, Texas. The 1-2 here from Kashmar is inside, taken, 2-2 on Keener.
And the struggles of this Lipscomb pitching staff to find the zone on 2-2 counts continues. We saw it happen numerous times on hit-by pitches in Habiger's start yesterday. Here again, chance to end the inning. The control by Kashmar just a little bit off.
The Bisons, fortunately, today have 0 hit batsmen. Kashmar comes set for the 2-2. Keener takes it right down the middle for a called strike 3, and that'll do it for the Wolverines. They go up and down 1-2-3 in this inning. At the end of 5.5, it is Lipscomb 7, Michigan 4. You're listening to WCBN Radio, the official student broadcast of Michigan baseball.
And it just looked like the Wolverines were a little bit dejected after that inning. After giving up 5 innings in the field, they come up to bat. Normally you see a team lively, ready to start a rally. They just looked like they'd just given up 5 runs at the top of the 9th. They were coming up at the bottom of the 9th. It almost felt like they were admitting defeat early. Hopefully that morale can change as the game goes on, though. Clearly a lot of ball left to play.
Ben Dragani will come out for his second inning, entering in the previous inning for Carl Kaufman. Dragani struck out the lone batter he faced in the bottom of the 5th. As we head to the bottom of the 6th, Wolverines trailing 4-7. It'll be the same defensive alignment for Michigan. Lewis, Engelman, and Bullock from left to right in the outfield. Kerr, Blomgren, Thomas, and Keener from left to right and the infield. And Joe Donovan remains behind the dish for the Wolverines.
And Ben Dragani is the guy you want coming out of the bullpen. In his 4 appearances this year, he has yet to give up a run. Definitely proving to be efficient as a young freshman. Knock on wood.
So it'll be the shortstop, Blake Thomas, who led off the previous inning with a single and came around to score in Lipscomb's 5-run 5th.
Is one of the best leadoff men the Wolverines have faced this year. He's hitting 400 in the leadoff spot this year.
Yeah, Thomas has been a weapon for the Lipscomb Bisons. Also perfect on steal attempts so far this season, 8 of 8. Thomas, the senior, 5'10", 170 from Mount Sterling, Kentucky, and is a transfer from Cleveland State Community College, taking the first pitch outside for ball 1.
And with Cleveland State, he played 77 games over 2 years and hit for .312.
The delivery on the 1-0 from Dragani is on the outside corner. It's 1-1 to Blake Thomas.
Last year, by the way, he was 3rd on the team with 16 stolen bases, almost halfway to that total already.
Dragani delivers and comes around for the bunt. Blake Thomas can't make contact there, takes it for ball 2. It's 2-1 to Thomas here in the bottom of the 6th.
Jimmy Kerr's got to be aware of that. Not necessarily the speediest third baseman. Got to be ready for potential infield hit.
And the lone infield hit today coming from Jackson First Ace in the bottom of the 3rd. That's what broke up Carl Kaufman's 8 straight batters retired and the first hit for Lipscomb as Dragani delivers a ball. Count is 3-1. Now gets ready. The 3-1 grounded to first base. Keener scoops it up, and coming over to cover is Dragani. So that'll go as a 3-1 putout. And Thomas is retired for the first time since the first inning.
That's a huge guy to retire, too. Thomas is not only a threat when he comes up to bat, but in the base paths, too. He's one of the fastest players on the field, and we've seen the Wolverines notice that, routinely trying to pick him off.
So Cade Sorrells now coming to the dish for the Bisons. Sorrells today is 1 of 3. Reached on an error in the 5th inning and came around to score. Had an RBI on his single in the 3rd, driving in Jackson first ace, second baseman. And the first pitch is a called strike for Dragani. Count 0-1 on Cade Sorrells.
And today Sorrells is 1 for 3, and he's also scored a run.
Dragani's second pitch is fouled to the third base side, out of play. And Dragani quickly ahead on Sorrells, 0-2.
That one hit near the parking lot. I'm praying that didn't hit our van.
Dragani working quickly, comes set and delivers. And rolled over once again to the first baseman. A 3-1 put out. Once again, Brock Keener flipping to Ben Dragani for the out. And just like that, we've got 2 outs here in the bottom of the 6th. Wolverines trailing 4-7.
I just felt like you were watching a replay of the previous play. Exactly the same situation. Keener gobbling that ball up near the right side.
Yeah, only difference,
for the out.
only difference really between Thomas and Sorrells is that Sorrells is a lefty and Thomas a righty, but aside from that, virtually an identical play. The pitch from Dragani bounces it in the dirt, and we have 1 ball on Zeke Dodson, the Bison's third baseman. So far today, 0 for 2 with a sacrifice in the 5th inning.
But he's a dangerous hitter, too, hitting .344 this year.
And the second pitch to Dodson is a strike. Count is 1-1. Dragani likes to work quickly. Delivers. The 1-1 is taken outside by Dodson. Count now 2-1.
One of the first times today we see Keener playing a little bit past the line.
The delivery from Dragani. Right down the middle, but a little low. That's ball 3. And Dragani, after getting out to a quick 0-2 start on Cade Sorrells, behind on Zeke Dodson, 3-1.
And maybe try and go up and away here, try to get him to chase.
Dragani delivers right down the middle, and Dodson swings and fouls it back to the screen. So a 3-2 count now for Dragani, the opportunity here to get out of the 6th inning unscathed.
That was such a huge hit for Dragani. You could see maybe his confidence could have wavered if he walked Dodson with 2 outs there. Now he's right back in at 3-2.
Dragani comes set and delivers. The breaker inside, and Zeke Dodson will trot down to first base, bringing up Jeffrey Chrisan, the designated hitter for the Bisons. Today he's 2 of 3 with a strikeout, a single, a double, 2 runs, and 2 RBIs. So Chrisan doing it all today for the Bisons.
Yeah, he's been the Wolverines' nemesis this series. One of the best power hitters on this team, one of the best hitters, period, on this team. Clearly showing why yesterday and now today.
Yeah, Chrisan yesterday was 2 of 4 with a walk, a single, a double, a run, and 2 RBI.
And he just missed a home run in the 1st inning. As that ball gets away from Donovan, and Dodson's going to advance to 2nd.
So Dragani's pitch in the dirt, bouncing away from Donovan. Dodson heading down to 2nd base. And just like that, the Bisons have a runner in scoring position with 2 outs here in the 6th, leading 7-4. Count is 1-0 on Jeffrey Chrisan.
And that was a pass ball that allowed Dodson to score, or Dodson to advance. 2nd is
Chrisan pops it sky high. First baseman Brock Keener able to make the catch and retire the side here in the bottom of the 6th. So Lipscomb sends 4 to the plate. 1 walk, 1 left on, no runs, no hits. And at the end of 6, it is the Wolverines 4 and the Lipscomb Bisons 7. You're listening to WCBN Sports Radio, the official student radio of Michigan baseball.
That was a huge out by Ben Dragani. Have one of the best hitters, Jeffrey Chrisan, coming to the plate. Could be the potential to make this a 4 or even 5-run game. Instead, to get out of this inning unscathed, still only down 7-4.
And Dragani's been pretty efficient here for the Wolverines, throwing just 20 pitches in his inning and a third of work, 11 of them for strikes. He has 1 strikeout.
By the way, Max, I've just been alerted that we're going to have a pitching substitution as junior righty Robbie Knox is going to come into the game.
So Robbie Knox entering the game. That'll end Chris Kashmar's day. He had a pretty solid outing, 6 innings pitched, 5 hits, 4 runs, all earned, 4 walks, 6 strikeouts, and 100 pitches even thrown.
It's definitely not the most efficient pitching day for the Wolverines. Dragani's been great out of the bullpen, but definitely uneven start after a really fast start.
So Knox will face Blomgren, and then the top of the order we have Blomgren, Thomas, and Bullock due up here in the top of the 7th for the Wolverines. After they got out to a 4-2 lead at the end of the 4, looking to chip into this 3-run Lipscomb lead. Lipscomb leads 7-4 here as we head into the 7th.
Robbie Knox was he's a transfer from junior college, Chippewa College. Last year he led his team to a 51-9 record, and they actually won the junior college championship last year. It's definitely a great track record at Chippewa, seeing if he can do more of the same here at Lipscomb. By the way, leading off this inning will be shortstop Jack Blomgren.
So Jack Blomgren steps up to the dish, batting from the left-handed side of the plate. So far today, 0 for 1 with a walk, has 1 steal. Oh, it'll be number 13 pinch hitting for Jack Blomgren for the Wolverines. That's Dominic Clementi, started yesterday in right field. In yesterday's contest, went 2 for 4, reached base 3 times, had 3 RBIs. And the first pitch is a ball to Clementi.
Clementi, a pretty solid hitter. You just said he had 3 RBI. This is exactly the guy the Wolverines want coming off the bench, trying to start a rally, especially with the K.O. Thomas coming up next.
Robbie Knox sets and delivers. Ball outside, so 2-0 now to Dom Clementi.
And for a Wolverines team that struggled to get into favorable counts this game, 2-0 is exactly what you want to see. I expect to see Clementi try and make something happen here on this next pitch.
Clementi swinging and fouls it back. Count now 2-1.
Like the aggression there, just missed a chance to pull that down the third base line. Had a lot of green grass to work with. Could have potentially been an extra base hit.
Yeah, third baseman Zeke Dodson for the Bisons playing about close to 15, 20 feet off the third baseline, as Clementi is a left-handed hitter. Robbie Knox, the righty for the Bisons, coming set at the waist. The delivery is inside. And now Dominic Clementi in a hitter's count, 3-1.
One thing that Clementi has to remember here is that it's okay to get on with leadoff walk. It may be nice to try and get a ball in play, but getting a leadoff walk is just the same to try and start a rally here.
Knox comes set. And Clementi swinging, chops it down the first baseline foul, and the count is full at 3-2.
Now after going ahead 3-1, this is once again full count.
Clementi steps in, adjusts his helmet. Robbie Knox, the junior college transfer, comes set and delivers. And Clementi fouls it off down the third baseline, far out of play.
And again,
so we will do it once again.
Over Allen Arena, which is home to the Lipscomb basketball team. They actually made their first NCAA tournament this past weekend.
They will be hearing their names called tomorrow on Selection Sunday for the first time for this Lipscomb basketball program. Robbie Knox comes set, delivers to Clementi, and Clementi fouls it off to the first base side. A great at-bat here from Clementi, able to foul off the past 3 pitches and make Knox work fresh out of the bullpen.
Fantastic at-bat. Knox is an excellent reliever out of the bullpen, and Clementi just putting all the pressure in the world on him here. It's been a great battle so far.
Knox once again, ready to deliver. And Clementi grounds it to the second baseman, Jackson Firstace, who fields it cleanly and fires over to Cade Sorrells for the first out here in the top of the 7th.
Not the result you want from your leadoff man, but great job to fight through that count, force an 8-pitch at-bat to start the inning. Definitely putting the pressure on.
So the Michigan Wolverines turning the lineup over for the 3rd time today. It'll be a K.O. Thomas, his 4th PA, leading off. Led off today for the Wolverines. He's 0 for 2 with a walk. First pitch to him is taken for a strike on the inside corner. Count is 0-1 to a K.O. Thomas.
Thomas usually a bit of a free swinger on the first pitch. This time letting that one go. Just missing, or just catching the outside corner.
Pitch from Knox is inside. 74-mile-an-hour slider from the hard-throwing righty. Count 1-1 to Thomas.
Thomas is hitting .213 this year. He walked in the first inning, but hasn't reached base since.
The 1-1. Another slider at 74 is inside to Thomas, so the count now sits at 2-1 to the Wolverines' second baseman.
For a hitter like Thomas, 2-1's one of his favorite counts.
Wolverines trail 7-4 as a K.O. Thomas calls time, steps out, and steps back in.
I think that's the right move. You don't want to rush yourself or make a mental mistake in at bat like this.
Another slider from Robbie Knox. That one gets over for a called strike. Count now 2-2 to Thomas. And clearly you see that Knox has the scouting report on Thomas. He's thrown him almost entirely sliders in this at-bat.
Absolutely. It's almost like playing the AI in a video game. He knows exactly what he's going to do, and he's playing this to perfection.
So the 2-2 now from Knox on the outside corner, and Thomas lines it weakly to the first baseman, Cade Sorrells, for out number 2.
And just missed a chance to maybe serve that one into right field. Just a little bit more power, and we could be looking at having a man on with one out.
So it'll be Chris Bullock coming up to the dish now for the Wolverines, number 5 today. 0 for 2, reached base twice, once on an error in the first inning by Blake Thomas, the Bisons shortstop, and reaching on a walk in the 4th. Struck out in his second at-bat in the 4th. Pitch from Knox. Aggressive here early by Bullock. He fouls it back. Count 0-1 on him.
And Bullock, a solid hitter. He's hitting .256 on the year. He's had 2 doubles, and he's also driven in 2 runs.
Knox is 0-1. Is a slider. Gets it over for a called strike. Count is 0-2 on Chris Bullock.
And after a shaky first at-bat against Dominic Clementi, looks like Knox has finally found his groove, and he's just toying with these Wolverines hitters. Only seen 1 swing so far.
Knox comes set the 0-2, and Bullock grounds it weakly to first baseman Cade Sorrells. Sorrells flips to Knox, and it's a 1-2-3 inning for Robbie Knox in his first inning of work. Wolverines go 3 up, 3 down, and they trail 7-4 to the Lipscomb Bisons here at Ken Dugan Field. We head into the 7th inning stretch.
And if anybody needs a stretch right now, it's the Michigan Wolverines. They look completely defeated. They look dead out there. They need somebody or something to inject some life into this dormant club.
Yeah, and Michigan in the past 3 innings have sent just the minimum to the plate, 3 batters each inning. Able to reach was Miles Lewis in the 5th inning on an error, but then retired after Chavez grounded into the double play. And since then, they've sent 6 up, and all 6 have been retired.
And it's interesting the way this game is played out. Usually it's the Michigan starters producing solid outings, and then the bullpen succumbing to a couple of poor frames. This time it's the starting pitchers putting the Wolverines in the hole. The relievers pitching well. By the way, we have some defensive subs as K.O. Thomas has moved to shortstop, and junior Blake Nelson is subbed in to play second base. So that means that Jack Blomgren, who's one of the team's better defenders, will take a seat. His day's over.
So Dominic Clementi's day done after just one pinch hit appearance in which he grounded out to the second baseman. Ben Dragani still on the bump, the southpaw for the Michigan Wolverines, after an inning and a third of work.
Left fielder Josh Martinez.
Now Josh Martinez stepping into the plate. Martinez today is 1 for 3.
And Martinez
Also struck
skies it down the third baseline, slicing foul, and unable to get there is Miles Lewis.
And bouncing over the Lipscomb bullpen onto Granny White Pike, street outside Allen Arena.
So Dragani ahead now on Josh Martinez, 0-1. Dragani's pitch is taken inside, nearly hit Martinez. Count now 1-1.
By the way, I mentioned earlier in the broadcast, Martinez's father, Gil, was in some minor league systems back in the 1990s.
Martinez fouls that back to the screen. Count is 1-2.
This is a huge pitch for Ben Dragani. You got to keep the pressure on this Bison offense. They have a chance to break this game open, as we've seen. They can go on runs. They had a 5-run spot in the 5th. You've got to make sure to limit the damage.
Dragani, the fastball outside. Count now 2-2.
Just prevent any chance of this Bison offense making a run.
Dragani pitching out of the windup. And swung on. Checking his swing there successfully, though, was Josh Martinez, so it'll be full to the 5-hole hitter for the Bisons.
And even though it was a ball, great job by Donovan to keep that in front of him. Could have been disastrous if that was called a swing and strike.
Dragani delivers. And a chopper up the middle. K.O. Thomas at shortstop fields it, fires over to Keener. And Keener unable to handle the throw. So Martinez reaching on the error.
That's the first error of the day for K.O. Thomas. Second error of the day for K.O. Thomas. Bit of an inauspicious performance from him. Usually very solid defender. Today struggling to make some plays that he normally makes on a routine basis.
And Martinez reaching for the third consecutive plate appearance. In the 4th inning, he actually reached on an error by a K.O. Thomas while Thomas was playing second base. So Martinez the beneficiary of 2 errors by Thomas. And now it'll be catcher Jake Perry coming to the dish for the Lipscomb Bisons.
And his brother Chase plays baseball just down the road at Tennessee Tech.
Pitch to Perry is in the dirt. Donovan able to keep it in front of him. Good job there by Donovan. Count now 1-0 to Perry. Perry 2 for 3 today with a single, a run, an RBI. Dragani comes set, checks the runner at first. And a swing and a miss there from Jake Perry.
Josh Martinez a threat to run here. He's 2 for 3 on stolen base attempts this year.
Dragani, the count 1-1. Checks on Martinez at first base and delivers. Swung and chopped down the third baseline foul. And the count now 1-2 here in the bottom of the 7th to Lipscomb catcher Jake Perry.
By the way, coming out of high school, the freshman Chambers was rated as the 10th best outfielder in the entire state of Tennessee. Pretty impressive for a state that produces a lot of great ball players.
Dragani now. The 1-2 and time is called by Perry in the box. Dragani taking a little too much time out there for Perry. Wants to reset.
That's not something we usually see. Usually Dragani likes to work quickly.
Dragani delivers the 1-2 and swung on and missed there by Jake Perry. So Dragani gets his second strikeout of today. Maddox Houghton now coming to the dish for the Lipscomb Bisons. Number 19 today is 0 for 2 with an RBI on a sac fly in Lipscomb's 5-run 5th inning. His other at-bats were a strikeout looking against Carl Kaufman and a fielder's choice in the 4th. The pitch from Dragani just misses low and outside for ball 1 on Maddox Houghton.
The Georgia native played at Dalton High School under Rhett Parrott. He's done a great job producing a lot of MLB talent over the course of his career.
And Dragani checks on Martinez at first base, nothing doing over there. Count 1-0 to Maddox Houghton, the center fielder for these Lipscomb Bisons. Bisons leading at 7-4 here in the bottom of the 7th. Dragani sets and delivers. Swung on and chopped just off his front foot, looked like. And the count now 1-1 to Houghton.
And again, I said earlier, Josh Martinez, a threat to run and steal bases, so I'm taking off there. Would have been safe easily if that ball was fair. If that pitch wasn't fouled off.
Dragani comes set and checks on Martinez once again at first base. And once again, nothing doing over there at first. Martinez running on the last pitch, so Dragani wanting to keep him close.
Keener playing very close to the line here.
Dragani's 1-1. Cut on and missed by Houghton.
Absolutely filthy pitch there from Dragani, getting Houghton to chase a pitch that was way outside the zone. Great stuff from the freshman.
1-2 now to Maddox Houghton. Martinez takes his lead off first. Dragani comes set. And time called once again by Jake Perry. Ben Dragani really caught up with Martinez at first base, paying a lot of attention to him. He's already thrown over 3 times this at-bat.
And interestingly, second baseman Blake Nelson not playing too close to second. Even a lot of space there.
Dragani's pitch is low for ball 2. Count is 2-2 now on Maddox Houghton.
And I wouldn't be surprised if the presence of a speedy guy like Martinez is hindering the control of Ben Dragani. We've seen him be a little rattled this at-bat ever since Martinez was able to reach.
Dragani fires and fouled back by Maddox Houghton. So we'll do it again, a 2-2 count on Houghton. Lipscomb leading at 7-4 here in the bottom of the 7th. A runner on first and 1 out. That runner is Josh Martinez, the left fielder for the Lipscomb Bisons.
Great at-bat here by Maddox Houghton, really making Dragani work.
Dragani fires it in, and it is hit deep to left field. That one falls in the gap, and one hops the fence, so it'll be a ground rule double for Maddox Houghton. Josh Martinez advancing to third, and a fortunate bounce there for the Wolverines. Had it not bounced over the fence, they probably, the Bisons that is, would have scored a run.
Absolutely. That's one of the, that's what we call a fortuitous bounce. Really lucky play there. Dragani didn't get the result he wanted out of that at bat, but still able to hold the Bison off the scoreboard for now.
So Dragani now will face number 12, Carson Wright, for the Lipscomb Bisons. He entered in the 5th inning as a pinch runner, and now will get his first at-bat of the day.
And even as a freshman, his teammates have said that he's an incredible inspiration in the Lipscomb locker room, making an impact already.
So Dragani with runners on second and third, the Michigan infield in, delivers to Wright, and the slider taken inside for ball 1.
Donovan's going to have to be careful on the backstop. He struggles with controlling some wild pitches. If he lets one go here, it could result in another Lipscomb run.
Dragani pitching from the stretch. The delivery to Wright, and Wright swings and bloops it into right field. Bullock fields, and tagging at third base is Martinez. Play at the plate. And tagged out at the dish is Josh Martinez. A fantastic play there from Chris Bullock in right field. He'll get the outfield assist. Joe Donovan putting the tag on Josh Martinez, and the Wolverines come up with an unconventional double play to end the 7th inning. They trail Lipscomb 7-4.
And even more impressive was not only Donovan's ability to keep that ball in front of him, but to have the awareness to go back and tag Martinez, who missed the bag initially when he was trying to slide into home plate. Just an all-around great play by the Wolverines. Great throw by Bullock, too. Not an easy play to make.
So Bullock able to make the tough play to end the 7th inning, keeping the Lipscomb Bisons off the board. The Wolverines will have 2 more innings here in the top of the 8th and top of the 9th to try to tie this game up and potentially take the lead. it'll be Robbie Knox heading out once again for the Lipscomb Bisons.
And leading off the inning for the Wolverines will be Jonathan Engelman. He had a two-run home run in yesterday's game, hitting it about 375 feet into the parking lot. So definitely a guy who has potential to hit one out of here or just get one in play. He's a really solid hitter. Facing a guy like Robbie Knox is no easy task. He's in his first year at the program, but he's a proven contributor at the junior college level. He's shown that he's capable of contributing at this level too with that great 7th inning today.
So Knox will head in for his 2nd inning of work. Retired the Wolverines in order last time. It'll be Engelman, Lewis, and Chavez for the Wolverines. Engelman, the first man up, number 2. 0 for 3 so far today with a strikeout. Yesterday went 3 for 5 with a single, double, and home run. Scored 2 runs and drove in 3. And Engelman looking to get his first hit today.
He's 2nd on the team with a .264 batting average. One of the most consistent hitters. It's been a different story today, though. 0 for 3 with a strikeout.
Knox's first pitch to Engelman is a strike on the outside corner. The slider at 72 miles an hour. Count is 0-1. And we have some defensive changes for the Bisons. We'll get those to you in just a moment. Knox's delivery to Engelman is chopped down the third baseline foul, and Knox is out ahead of Engelman quickly, 0-2. For the Bisons, it'll be Maddox Houghton moving to left field, and it'll be Chandler Chambers in center. The 0-2, cut on and chopped weakly. Back to the pitcher, Knox. He flips over to Cade Sorrells for the first out. Engelman is retired.
And the Wolverines still struggling to get something going. Their last 4 at-bats have resulted in a strikeout and 3 ground balls that have barely left the infield.
So Miles Lewis will come up for the Wolverines now. Lewis today is 0 for 3, reached on an error in the 5th inning. And Robbie Knox really has been fantastic here for the Bisons. Delivers his first pitch. Grounded weakly to Jackson Firstace, who gobbles it up and fires over to Sorrells for out number 2 here in the top of the 8th. Knox 5 up, 5 down for the Bisons, Teddy. What have you seen from him that you've liked?
I mean, with the exception of that first at-bat against Lenti, really every batter he's faced has gone down on 3 or 4 pitches. He's just working them like clockwork and doesn't show any signs of slowing down anytime soon.
Yeah, just 20 pitches, 15 of them for strikes from Knox here through 5 batters. Now it'll be Chavez at the dish. Takes the changeup for strike 1 at 81 miles per hour. Marcus Chavez today 1 for 3, grounded into a double play in his last at-bat in the 5th. The second pitch, a slider, taken on the outside corner for a strike. Chavez did not agree.
And it's hard to believe that the last time Chavez came up, the Wolverines were up 4-1. Shows how much has changed in this game, or 4-2. Shows how much has changed since his last at-bat.
Knox comes set, the count 0-2, and delivers a fastball in the lefty batter box. Nowhere close there on the 0-2 from Knox, so now 1-2 to Chavez.
And one of the few times we've seen Knox struggle with his control. He's been working his pitches so well through his first 1 2/3 innings of work. That time just not able to get it.
Knox's 1-2 is chopped weakly. Back to Knox. Eats it up and fires over to Sorrells for another 1-2-3 inning from Robbie Knox. No runs, no hits, no errors, no men left as we head to the bottom of the 8th here at Ken Dugan Field in Nashville, Tennessee. It's Lipscomb Bisons 7, Michigan Wolverines 4. You're listening to WCBN Sports Radio, the official student radio of Michigan baseball.
And it appears that Ben Dragani is going to trot out for his 3rd inning of work. A little bit of curious decision from Eric Bakich. Usually we see him try and go deeper into his bullpen, but he's sticking with the only reliever we've seen today.
Yeah, Dragani has done a good job so far, not allowing any runs to cross the plate, limiting the damage after an error from, I believe it was
K.O. Thomas.
It was a K.O. Thomas. A K.O. Thomas leadoff error last inning and then giving up a ground rule double to Maddox Houghton, but able to retire the side by inducing a fly ball and getting a double play at the plate. So he'll come out for his third inning of work, having thrown, I believe, 2.1 already. Only allowed 1 hit, 1 walk, 2 strikeouts, just 38 pitches so far, so still relatively fresh. We'll see if Dragani can retire the side in order here, and then the Wolverines will be down to their last half inning to tie this game up. They trail 7-4.
And it's crucial that Dragani's able to hold them scoreless here. With the way the Wolverines' offense is played, they can't afford to have another run on the board. As we see Christian Bullock running in the outfield and throwing the glove to himself. One of the few Wolverines showing any signs of life, really. With the exception of him, this entire team looks like they've just given up on this effort.
And warming up now for the Wolverines is Jeff Criswell, the birthday boy, the right-handed freshman.
And it's one of 3 Michigan Wolverines celebrating their birthdays today. Not the way you want to celebrate your birthday with an effort like this, but...
First pitch from Dragani is high to second baseman Jackson Firstace. Count is 1-0. Dragani comes set to Firstace, who's 1 for 3 today, and Firstace lines it to left field. Lewis under it and corrals it for the first out here in the bottom of the 8th.
Firstace giving that one a ride. Looked like it had a chance to maybe go for extra bases. Instead, Miles Lewis settling under that one, making a routine play for the out.
So it'll be Blake Thomas, the shortstop, coming up for the 5th time in this game. He's 2 for 4 with 2 singles, a run scored.
He's also a threat in the base paths. We've seen routinely the Wolverines holding him in check from the first baseline.
Dragani's first pitch at 89 miles an hour, a strike from the freshman. Count is 0-1. Dragani's pitch fouled off by Blake Thomas, out of play on the right side.
It goes over the parking lot and into the streets. Some interesting architecture, to say the least, from this Lipscomb ballpark.
So Dragani ahead on Thomas, 0-2, delivers. And Thomas swings and pops it up. Giving chase is Blake Nelson, and called off by Chris Bullock in right field. He secures it for the second out here in the bottom of the 8th.
A little bit of an easier throw this time into the infield as he makes the play.
Yeah, good play there from Chris Bullock to call off Blake Nelson. And we'll see Cade Sorrells now, the first baseman for the Lipscomb Bisons, at the dish today for his 5th time. He's 1 for 4, has a single and an RBI, reached on an error and scored in the 5th. And Sorrells this season has been pretty solid, hitting .240, not great. First pitch from Dragani is, I don't know where that was, called a ball.
Interesting call by the umpire. It looked like Dragani thought that should have been a strike.
Dragani working quickly now out of the windup. The pitch is popped a mile high by Cade Sorrells, and Bullock under it once again makes the catch, and that's a 1-2-3 inning for Ben Dragani. He's gone 3 1/3. At the end of 8, it is Lipscomb 7 and Michigan 4. You're listening to WCBN Sports Radio, official student radio of the Michigan Wolverines, as we were saying, Teddy.
Oh, I was just going to say, tremendous effort out of the bullpen by Ben Dragani, but it's all going to be for naught if the Wolverines can't put 3 runs across, and it looks like they're going to have to continue dealing with Robbie Knox. He's trotting out for the top of the 9th inning.
So Robbie Knox here in for the save opportunity.
Bit of a lengthy save.
Yeah, I mean, 3 innings, regardless of the score, would be a save, assuming Lipscomb would have ended up coming out on top. Dragani today, a very solid effort so far. 3.1 innings pitched, 1 hit, 1 walk, 2 strikeouts, and no runs allowed. He's thrown just 45 pitches, so we'll see if Michigan's able to tie it up, whether Coach Eric Bakich will send him out for another inning of work.
Meanwhile, Robbie Knox has pitched 2 innings, and he's only done it on 24 pitches. Definition of efficiency from the Lipscomb righty.
Yeah, Knox, 24 pitches, 18 for strikes. He's been nothing short of dominant, and he'll have to deal with the 6, 7, and 8 hitters here for Michigan. It'll be Jimmy Kerr, Joe Donovan, and Brock Keener.
And normally that's an area of the lineup you want to see if you're an opposing pitcher. These guys have combined for 3 of the Wolverines' 5 hits today, with Keener having 2 of them, and 2 RBI.
And 2 runs.
And 2 runs.
So it'll be Jimmy Kerr stepping up to the dish for the Wolverines. Kerr today is 0 for 2. Walked in the 4th inning and scored.
And it's been a rough season for Kerr at the plate, way below the Mendoza line, hitting just 138.
So Kerr trying to raise his average so he can get off the interstate. Takes the first pitch from Knox outside for ball 1. Knox comes set. The delivery. Right down the middle for strike 1. 73-mile-an-hour changeup.
We have a new pitcher in the game, by the way, as Jeffrey Crisan has stepped behind the backstop to take over.
So Jeffrey Crisan returning to where he began the game yesterday. Knox's pitch low and inside. Ball 2. Count is 2-1 on Jimmy Kerr.
Great job by Kerr to be patient so far in this at-bat. Usually we see him a little bit erratic at the plate. This time waiting until he finds a pitch he likes.
Knox's 2-1 to Kerr is chopped foul.
And he
count
just
now
got
2-2.
a piece of that one to keep it at 2-2.
Jimmy Kerr, the junior, third baseman from Dallas, Texas. Gets ready in the left-handed batter's box. The delivery from Knox. Knox retires Kerr on a curveball for strike 3. Got him swinging.
And he completely fooled Jimmy Kerr there, continuing his excellence on the mound, Robbie Knox.
Knox now has, that was his first strikeout of the day. But he's been pretty solid, 7 up, 7 down here for the young righty. It'll be Joe Donovan, the catcher for the Wolverines, now stepping in, and Knox's first pitch, a slider outside. Count is 1-0.
Donovan's 1 for 3 today with an RBI single, and he's also scored a run.
Knox working quickly, comes set, working from the stretch despite nobody on base. Fires inside and gets the call for strike 1, a 72-mile-an-hour curveball.
Donovan looking a little bit unhappy with that call. Thought it was outside.
Knox comes set, the 1-1. Another curveball in for a called strike on the outside part of the plate, and Donovan behind 1-2.
Donovan taking his time. Now looks like he's ready for Robbie Knox's offering.
Knox is 1-2. Fouled out of play on the first base side by Joe Donovan. And he stays alive here for the Wolverines.
Great job by Donovan to just get a little bit of that ball, giving him a chance to live another day and maybe kickstart a Wolverines rally.
So Wolverines trailing at 4-7 here in the top of the 9th. Joe Donovan at the dish, 1-2 count, 1 out. Robbie Knox on the bump for the Lipscomb Bisons. Delivers and gets Donovan swinging with a fastball on the outside corner. That one clocked at 85, so actually may have been a changeup. Saw a little tail on it. Either way, a good pitch from Knox, able to get his second strikeout of the inning.
And Knox is just 1 out away now from pitching a perfect 3 innings and achieving one of the rare feats in baseball, a 3-out save. Brock Keener, the last hope for the Wolverines here.
So Keener, the first baseman, coming up. He's 2 for 3 today with 2 RBIs. Knox's first pitch. See again that change. Can't tell if it's a changeup or two-seam fastball. Either way, it's got a big tail on it, just outside. So it's 1-0 on Keener.
Looked like he may have been trying to get Keener to chase there. Keener staying put.
Goes back again to that two-seam fastball over the middle for a strike. Count is 1-1.
Looked like that one drew Keener back a little bit. Wasn't really expecting that, but too close into the zone.
The 1-1 from Knox is inside to Keener. Count is 2-1. The pitchers of record here for Michigan, it's Carl Kaufman, who gave up 7 runs, just 4 of them earned in 4 2/3 innings of work. Chris Kachmar for the Lipscomb Bisons, giving up 4 earned in 6 innings of work.
And great performance by Kashmar in the last 3 innings of that game. Really turned it on from the fifth and 6th innings to salvage a pretty solid performance after a slow start.
Knox's 2-1 is outside, so the count 3-1 to Brock Keener.
And I expect to see Keener turn loose here. Should get something.
Knox
down the
comes
middle.
set and delivers. Keener pops the 3-1 into foul ground. And making the sliding catch is Maddox Houghton. That'll do it here. The Lipscomb Bisons able to pull off the defeat. They beat the Michigan Wolverines 7-4. The winning pitcher, Chris Kashmar, improves to 1-0. The losing pitcher, Carl Kaufman, falls to 2-2. Michigan 4 runs on 5 hits and committing 4 errors in today's game. Lipscomb 7 runs on 10 hits and 2 errors for them.
And a little bit of program history for the Lipscomb Bison. This is the first time they've beaten the Michigan Wolverines in 5 attempts.
Ben Dragani, a nice effort in relief for Michigan, but they can't get him any runs late in the game. Michigan, aside from their 4th inning, held scoreless the rest of the game. Game time 2 hours and 47 minutes. So for everyone else here at WCBN Sports Radio, the official student radio of the Michigan Wolverines, I'm Max Brill. For Teddy Gutkin, Austin Falco, Teo Mackey. Join us tomorrow as Michigan takes on Lipscomb once again. Official first pitch scheduled for 1 p.m. Central, 2 p.m. Eastern. Check the WCBN Sports Twitter account and Michigan Baseball Twitter account for updates on whether we see a potential postponement or delay in the game. We'll be back with you tomorrow, and we will leave you, as always, with a good evening, and go blue. Thanks for tuning in.